against Houston. The 3-1 Browns on the road Sunday against the Chargers. Linebacker Jalen Smith, released earlier this week by the Cowboys, has reached an agreement on a one-year deal with the Green Bay Packers. That today from ESPN's Adam Schefter. Week 5 does open up tonight. Seahawks home hosting the Rams. 2 AL Division Series get underway today and tonight. First up, White Sox and Astros from Houston. First pitch in a little over an hour. Coverage on ESPN radio affiliates at the bottom of the hour. Astros skipper Dusty Baker on managing against Tony La Russa.
Well, I mean, he's in the Hall of Fame. You don't find many Hall of Famers that come back. Most of them trying to get in, more or less coming back. I enjoy managing against Tony. And the way I look at it, he's managing against me too. How come he didn't put it that way? Yeah, I'll be curious to hear what he says.
La Russa 77, Baker 72, the oldest 2 active managers in baseball. This will be the first ever postseason matchup between 70-year-old skippers. Lance Lynn, Lance McCullers Jr., the starting pitchers. Jake Odorizzi is not on the ALDS roster for the Astros. Later tonight, Red Sox and Rays from St. Petersburg, Florida. Eduardo Rodriguez will oppose Shane McClanahan. JD Martinez is on the Red Sox roster for the division series.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
As you know, I'm not much of a fence sitter. Be careful how you say that fast. But I'm telling you, I've been jockeying around tomorrow night's plans between the working, going to the Rays Red Sox game, Zach Brown Band concert, sending Austin and Casey edible arrangements. There's a lot going on in my mind right now with everything else going on this week. And so it's cluttered. I've almost come to a decision. But, Casey, let me ask you this first. If I give you this question, okay, tomorrow night, Game 2 ALDS Red Sox Rays, and you're a Rays fan, or hold out for Game 2 Saturday of the ALCS. What are you taking? Not this Saturday.
No, I know. I would. Oh, that's tough. I'd hold out because I think they beat the Red Sox, so I don't think that's a concern, and I think that will be a more competitive situation. So, yes, I would hold out unless I know you said you don't really care unless you want to go root on against your son, which would be an interesting concept, but I would hold out.
Yeah, that's interesting you say that. Austin Lane, welcome to the show, baby. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday.
Believe me, we ain't talking anything like you were talking this morning on 95.1 WAPE. So, let's just set our Friday plans and not worry about whatever else you were talking about.
Oh, it's all good, man.
But
we always get pretty wild in that show.
So what do you think? I know you're not a fan of either, but
if
this was the Brewers,
Yeah, well, if it was the Brewers, then I would wait. I would hope that they're going to win, and then I would wait. But like Casey was saying, if you want to mix the Red Sox with the Rays for a little bit of a father-son, back and forth, then obviously that's the only play to make.
Yeah.
If you truly don't care about the Red Sox, which I think, they probably will lose this series, then I would probably hold off and wait until a more competitive series as well.
Yeah, listen, the thing about it with, Ty's done – listen, I took him to the All-Star game in Cincinnati. He's games. We saw LeBron down in Orlando. I'm not, feeling bad dad about not, taking him to a Rays game. I understand when I put it out there, a lot of people – and I get it. It's really cool. And I enjoy that part of it, too, taking them – and by the way, Kaylee jumped in yesterday. She's like, what about me? I want to go. And so now I'm okay.
Sorry the Cubs are trash.
Very good.
Sorry, not good.
Kaylee, I honestly think Kaylee was more offended that I didn't put her in the poll question.
Okay, I got you.
Twitter. So I don't know, but I think, by the way, the Rays are plus 500 to win the World Series behind the Dodgers and Astros. I just see this right now.
What
Red
a
Sox
world.
are plus 1,000.
What a world.
That's wild.
And so, it's funny. You guys say that. That's interesting. And I asked Ty. I said, all right, Ty, you want to hold out or do you want to go tomorrow? And he said hold out as well.
Yeah.
Which brings me to two things. One, see, Ty, and I don't know if you guys are like this, but Ty's a big he likes the atmosphere. He watched college football or in college basketball, and one of the reasons he gets kind of drawn in is the crowd. Like, just it's crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
He really does like that. I think that's why he likes going to the Jags games when things do go well. Just the celebration part, the stadium coming to life. Like, I think he likes that. And so I did tell him this. I said, hey, there's a decent chance there's more Red Sox fans there tomorrow night in Tampa than Rays. And I'm not trying to be it's not really a bash on your Rays, Casey, but, I mean, that could be reality. There are a lot of Red Sox fans in Florida. And usually when those two meet, there's a good amount of Red Sox fans that show up. So that could be a unique atmosphere, but it's not going to be like this pro-Tampa-only atmosphere. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And you're right. I mean, now I will say give credit to the Rays. If you're unfamiliar, and I hate to say this out loud, but the upper deck has been rather closed for the Rays, and they have tarps on the seats in the upper deck. However, they have been removed. The stadium, they've added very affordable tickets, $30 in the upper deck. They may be sold out by now. I'm sure they are.
Hope so.
But now, granted, that will go both ways, but I think it will be a interesting atmosphere. And if you've never been to a game in the playoffs for the Rays, even with the Red Sox, I was there in 13 maybe when Lobaton hit the walk-off. That was incredible in there. It gets loud in there when the fans are in there, so environment-wise, I think either game will be great, but there definitely will be a lot of Red Sox fans in there.
Yeah, I think there will. And so the other part of this is, so Austin just said it, and more importantly, Casey, you said it, and Ty said it, and you guys got a lot of confidence you're getting by the Red Sox. Listen, I think you're better. But, I mean, are you being a little bit too confident? It's a 5-game series. That's a short series. Anything can happen.
I mean, it's definitely concerning. Not concerning, but if you look at the pitching matchup, so you have McClanahan going today, rookie. You have Shane Baz going tomorrow. He's pitched twice in the majors.
Wow.
And so, I mean, yeah, there is some questions there. I still think they're good enough to get by, even if their starting pitching is questionable. But if the Red Sox somehow pull out the game tonight, maybe you tell Ty, hey, there might not be a next. We should probably just make sure. Because you lose game one, I don't love it with Sale waiting.
Yeah, that's true. I do. Right now, that's the other thing. Could see Sale tomorrow night, which that's pretty good. And you said Baz is going tomorrow?
Baz is going tomorrow.
So
yeah,
that's a nice matchup. Yeah, that's a nice matchup because that kid's supposed to be real deal.
Now, if you go on Saturday, you could potentially bring next Saturday. You could potentially bring inflatable trash cans and have a good time that way.
Oh,
and
I like
actually think that those could, like Houston Rays would be a good series. Like that would be a good game to go to. Like I think that'd be a really good game. I think both teams are pretty darn good. The White Sox, I just don't know if they come with the venom or like the fanfare to create an atmosphere that might create like with the Red Sox there or Houston there or somebody else. So anyway, that's a lot of time on my plans tomorrow night. But you're helping me out, guys, because I think I'm leaning toward I'll be here for the show tomorrow.
All right.
Probably go to the concert with the wife. Because then all of a sudden, this is where Steph really muddies the water, right? She's like, I don't care. It's fine. But once Kaylee asked, she's like, well, maybe I'll just sell the Zach Brown tickets and we'll go all as a family to the game.
Yeah.
Like, all right. So now I feel like she's just obliging she doesn't want to go to the game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Steph's a big baseball fan, a sports fan, but I don't know if she really wants to drive 3.5 hours to go see Tampa and the Red Sox play.
Sure. To me, I mean, no matter what you do, I'm all good with. I mean, I would probably consider, your fellow colleagues at Action Sports, Jackson, Casey here, who's running the board in terms of what you do. So I'd probably try to give at least a little heads up of what your plan's going to be, just so they're not kind of left wondering what are we doing.
Well, here's what I've done. I've already basically said, regardless, tomorrow night I'm not doing the Friday Night Blitz.
Okay.
So I gave Stuart a heads up.
Okay.
And it looks like Stuart will do the Blitz scoreboard show, which is cool. And he can do it. That's fine. And so we got a little bit – I haven't given Casey the complete heads up, but that's kind of where we're trending.
Okay.
And then all I have to do is decide whether I'm skipping out on the show tomorrow. So I'll give you a heads up by like 2:55.
All right, cool. Sounds good, man.
I texted you what my thoughts were. I think you should go to either or. I used some questionable words in our text that I can't say on the air. But I think you should do either or. Spend the time with the family. Stuart Weber, more than capable. We can hold it down.
Yeah. No, it is true. It is something on a Friday night of all. Well, there's 2 days you don't want to really like leave everybody hanging in our world, like in the fall, and that's Sunday, of course, which I couldn't, and Fridays. Now, Friday nights on occasion, because of whether it's a London game or something comes up, I've missed some Fridays in the past, like maybe one a year. And so this would be the only one. But this Blitz Scoreboard show that we started on Fridays, which is a very cool show, really enjoy doing it. But it does kind of make things a little more challenging in the evening if you take somebody out of the fold. All right, so those are our plans, folks. Brent Martineau here at String Sports Brewery. Austin Lane, Casey Kurtz back in the Action Sports Jax studios. Since we're on baseball for a moment, we're going to obviously talk more about the Jags. Good game last night, fellas.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I fell asleep in like the 6th inning, I think it was.
Yeah, that was a long game.
What a pleasant surprise to wake up to the Cardinals being out of it. Nothing. Well, I mean, almost as good as the Cubs being out of it or the Reds being out of it. But I always enjoy the St. Louis Cardinals getting bounced out. So it was a pleasant morning. Made my drive to work that much easier.
You know what's wild, guys? To me, I thought about this, and you tell me if I'm right or wrong. But like the Cardinals and the Cubs, and obviously for Brewers, I don't think people hate the Brewers, but I know Brewers fans don't like the others in the Central. Mm-hmm. There's the Red Sox, there's the Yankees, but there's this overwhelming, like a lot of people don't like the Red Sox anyway, and really a lot of people either love the Yankees or hate the Yankees. I don't get that sense with the Dodgers, and why don't we? Like, do people hate the Dodgers outside of San Francisco? Like the Dodgers still feel like that's the cool hat to wear. Like, you're a front runner if you're like a Dodgers fan, but I don't feel like there's this built up. Man, I hope the Dodgers don't. I hope they slay Goliath, and beat the Dodgers. Like, there's always that feeling with the Yankees. And I think the Red Sox and Cubs and teams like that have earned that because of how much they spend. Well, the Dodgers spend more than anybody else probably, and they don't feel that to me. Like, I don't feel like there's a lot of, hey, I'm glad that, or I'm bummed that the Dodgers are still alive, or am I misreading that?
I mean, from the cash standpoint of how much money they spend, I mean, I think you're accurate. That's not a big deal. But, like, in terms of rivalries, like, I mean, one of my best friends is a Dodgers fan. And, like, I know on good authority that Giants fans and Dodgers fans, like, they go at it. Like, that series coming up.
Oh, yeah, that's big time.
I mean, it's and, it might be a little bit of a West Coast bias where we don't feel it here on the East Coast. But in terms of, like, rivalry and, like, smack talking, like, and fighting, that's a big deal there on the West Coast between the Dodgers and the Giants.
It's actually, like, to be honest with you, it's one of the most underrated. There's an East Coast bias. There's certainly a bias for me. I mean, Yankees, Red Sox to me takes the cake. I mean, I've been to it. I haven't been to San Francisco and the Dodgers. And really all you have to do is look at that stat that I tweeted out last night, which was amazing to me. But if you think about it, it makes some sense. The Dodgers and Giants have never even met in the postseason.
Yeah, that's wild.
They've never met in the postseason. Well,
yeah.
I mean, I'll give you 1978. I'll give you 2003. I'll give you 2004. I'll give you just the other night for the Yankees, Red Sox, Mm-hmm. I mean, so at least there's that. They haven't elevated that to a whole new level, but now it does. I mean, this is unbelievable. It's the first time they've met, and to have two teams that good facing off in the divisional series. But it just, I don't know, Casey, you're a baseball guy. I mean, do you hate the Dodgers?
I don't, and it's interesting you bring that up because I think, at least when I was growing up, the Dodgers weren't good. Like, the biggest thing I remember now granted, West Coast, you're making a point here, and I was a kid, so I was in bed when the Dodger games were on. But what I remember from the Dodgers is like Manny Wood when they traded for Manny back in the day, Manny Ramirez, and I don't hate them, even though the Rays lost to them in the World Series. It's just, I think for me personally, they have a collection of guys that you don't really hate. Dave Roberts somehow is a likable guy.
Yeah, you're
maybe
right.
Because of what happened with the Astros and all that. But like a guy like Chris Taylor who hit the walk-off last night, like I can't do anything but be happy for him because he's been around. He plays literally every position on the field. And Justin Turner's another guy that was on the Mets and didn't really get the respect, goes to the Dodgers and is good. So they just don't have a lot of hateable target on your back guys, I don't think, except Trevor Bauer now.
Yeah, it's just an interesting thing. We should get really good stuff, though, with this Dodgers and Giants now coming up. All right, one last thing since we've stuck on baseball, even though some folks are saying, why aren't you talking about Urban? And we'll get to Urban, okay? I've talked about Urban like every day. Is there anything new on Urban? Somebody just said, clearly you don't cover all the breaking news, like Urban's recent response. I don't know what this is all about. Like, is this a joke?
I don't know. I mean,
no, that was to a tweet I had earlier. My bad. That was to a tweet when I said my buddies keep telling me that Urban. Have you seen all this Urban stuff? Like, I keep getting calls from around like the country with some of my buddies. Have you seen this Urban stuff? Like, no, we haven't. We haven't seen it. We'll live here. We cover it.
It's only our job, yeah.
It's only our job.
Yeah.
So sorry. There's nothing new on Urban other than Shelley Meyer did say something on Twitter, which we can talk about in a minute. But do you like the one-game playoff or do you think they should go to a best of 3 for this round? And this year brings it to light maybe more than any other. Red Sox Yankees, we'd love to see a couple more games, right, as a fan. And that Cardinals Giants game was so good, and they're two of the hottest teams in the league coming down the stretch. Should they expand that to a best of 3, guys?
Go ahead, Casey.
I like the idea of it because I think this would be a bigger conversation if the Dodgers lose last night, because you win 106 games and you lose to a team that did not win 100 games. But I think if you make it to 3 games, you have to adjust your roster differently. For example, with Garrett Cole, you're paying him $300 million, and if you need 1 game, it didn't work out, obviously. But if you need 1 game, you have the big game pitcher, and you only need 1. On the flip side, if it's 3 games, you have to at least maybe spend your money differently and have more than 1 pitcher you can absolutely count on, like the Dodgers with Kershaw and Max Scherzer and Julio Urias and those guys. So I like the idea of 3, but it's going to absolutely kill the drama factor of the 1 game.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I was going to get at. I mean, it is the wild card game. Like, you got by the skin of your teeth to get there. So I feel like 1 game kind of encapsulates of what it's all about. You know, it's win or go home. It's do or die. So I'm all for just the 1 game.
Well, here's the thing, guys. This is what I would say to that. This is the longest season in professional sports, right? It's 162 games. I don't really think you can complain about a format when it took you 162 games to get here. Now, could there be a little complaining by the Dodgers and even the Cardinals, but especially the Dodgers, like if they lost? They were the second best team in all of baseball, and they're ousted if they had lost that game because of the format. Like, they earned their way into a playoff series based on how they played for 162. But in general, you have 162 games to position yourself so you're not stuck in that kind of game. And so I think because it's such an elongated season, I think it's a little bit on deaf ears to say that. Now, there's a couple logistical problems, too. The calendar. We already go into, like, November for the World Series. You'd like to shorten that. You don't even want to go to November with the weather up north and some of the places. So I would say this. If they someday decide to shrink the season down, play more double headers on a calendar level, like whether it's back to 154 or even 144, or they play double headers so now you're getting done with the season like a week earlier, well, then I think I'd be okay with going to a best of 3. I wouldn't mind it. It's more baseball. That's cool. So I'm fine with the way it's at right now. But if there is a change to the calendar as we know it, or the number of games, I think bringing that best of 3 play then makes some sense to me. Does that make some sense to you?
Have to shorten the season. I think you have to shorten it even if you keep the 1 game. I mean, 162 is such an odd number. Make it 150. Make it an even number. Do something, even 145. Makes sense. I think I don't know. I love the 1 game, but you got to at least consider the 3.
But, this the reason they don't do that, and we know this, and then we'll put a bow on this here. Didn't think I'd go baseball to start, but heck, have we talked about Urban Meyer enough this week? I think the reason, Casey, it's so 154 and 162 have been kind of the thing, and the record books are so important to baseball. And so to get to another level of games, adjust that, puts asterisks in, all this stuff, and I think that's the hesitation. But I would listen, doubleheaders are not welcome because you lose the gate if you're an owner. It's harder to get as many people there and make as much money. I kind of like the 7-inning doubleheaders. That's going away. But either way, we'll see what they do with baseball. I think it's here to stay for now, the 1-game playoff. We should have some phenomenal baseball, though, coming up over the next couple weeks. Brent Martineau here at String Sports Brewery, Austin Lane, back in the studios along with Casey Kurtz. All right, let's get to a little football. Austin, we're here on Thursday, man. Is this team going to be ready to play, or do you still have your doubts?
I mean, you still have to have your doubts, obviously, of everything that's transpired. Sometimes teams can come out flat regardless. And now we're talking about a team that has, just had to answer questions and has had to go through distractions and even to the point of, in some sort of preparation as well. So, I mean, I have no idea. This, to me, this could be an example as well where this team comes out and they win in spite of everything going on. Sometimes teams rally behind that. And it's like no one believes in us. We're going through it right now as an organization. There's distraction in the locker room. Like, let's just band together and let's play football. And you get that sense with Trevor Lawrence when he had that picture on Instagram where he said, I think it was, we're all we got. And it was just a picture of him and the offensive lineman in the huddle. So, like, to me, that's telling a little bit. Where do they just come out and win in spite of everything? So, I mean, if you're asking me straight up, what do I think? I think that this team is going to be distracted. I think that this could be an issue. But at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if they come out and it's the best performance we've seen because now they're just extra ticked off and extra motivated to prove people wrong.
Doesn't it feel a little bit all or nothing in that sense?
I think it's all or nothing for a lot of things. I think it's all or nothing for Urban Meyer. I think it's all or nothing for this team. I think it's all or nothing for the result of this organization of what the optics are going to look like. There's a lot at stake, and it's crazy because it seems like every single week I sit here and say, well, this is the most important game of the season, right? Yeah. I mean, I said that about Thursday night because it was your opportunity to showcase who you guys are to a national audience, the only game that you get this year. I said, the first game of the season against Houston, where it's really your opportunity to win and get off to a good foot. That was the most important game of the season. So I keep bringing up this narrative. It's the most important game. It's the most important game. Forget what I said the first 4 weeks. This is by far the most important game. And I don't think there will be an as important game throughout the rest of the season. Like, yeah, New York could be a great storyline with Zach Wilson and the new coaching and all that stuff. But this feels like it's either you win or we don't know what's going to happen. So This is the most important game of the season as far as I'm concerned.
I think you're exactly right. Hey, let's take a break here on the show. We come back. I got a couple of topics. One about Urban Meyer. What are your thoughts from a resigning situation that continues to be a little bit of an underbelly here? Do you think he makes it through the year in one way, shape, or form? I mean, speaking of gut feelings, where is your gut on that? Of course, we don't know, but now that we are on to Thursday, past all this other stuff, we've heard everybody talk about it. Kind of what are the feelings of Urban getting through this year? Let's not even go beyond that. Forget about the contract. How about through this year? Where do you go there? And then I just talked to the St. Johns County Sports Club down there in St. Augustine, and I brought up something with them about Urban and quarterbacks that I haven't really shared here, but I think it's worth a mention, and something that actually could save the Jacksonville Jaguars and, quite frankly, save Urban Meyer. We'll be back live at Spring Sports Brewery. Jaguars All Access tonight, 7 o'clock on Fox 30. We'll be here until 6 o'clock as well. And the show rolls on ESPN 690 right after this.
Now, the First Alert Forecast on ESPN 690.
Partly cloudy and humid today with a few scattered showers and thunderstorms developing. Highs near 85, dropping to near 70 tonight. And partly to mostly cloudy for your Friday. Some on and off showers and a few thunderstorms. Highs tomorrow in the low to mid 80s. From the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish. Join me today beginning at 5 p.m. on CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jax.
The weather meter is brought to you by Beards Diamonds. Don't miss Beards BOGO Wedding Band Sale October 8th through the 24th.
I love football, and I love chicken wings. Hey, everybody, this is Brent Mortno. We are a lot alike, right? You love football, and you love wings. Let's win the week with Extreme Wings Sports Grill. 4 locations in Jacksonville, Atlantic Boulevard, Ocean Way, 210 in St. Johns County, and the new location on Roosevelt Boulevard near NAS Jax, serving up the freshest, never frozen, world-famous extreme hot wings to Jacksonville since 1999. We like football. We like wings. We love a good deal. To celebrate the grand opening of the Extreme Wings Roosevelt location, get 6 wings, french fries, and a drink for just $12.99 at the Roosevelt location. 6 wings, french fries, and a drink, just $12.99. Active military gets special discounts. Jalapeno ranch, Caribbean jerk, spicy blue cheese, lemon pepper. So many flavors to choose from. And, of course, they can make them extreme if you want. Plenty of space at Extreme Wing Sports Grill locations. If you're looking for a place for the entire team, try Extreme Wing Sports Grill. I love it. You'll love it. 4 locations in Jacksonville, including Roosevelt Boulevard near NAS Jax.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Austin. I want to talk about my friends at JTech. JTech is a local nonprofit private institution of higher learning focused on essential career training such as automotive, diesel, HVAC, marine and RV technology, and commercial truck driving. They are currently hiring technical education instructors for all of those programs. If you're tired of being retired and all the mundane activities that come with retirement, and you have experience in those trade fields, they want to talk to you about using your knowledge and skills to teach and prepare the next generation of skilled trades men and women. So go ahead and give them a call to start the process. Their phone number is 904-328-5599. Again, that's 904-328-5599. Do good by giving back and teaching the next generation the skills that you've learned over the years, all the while becoming involved in helping the country by narrowing the skills gap. Call JTech today.
Is your home not feeling very new anymore? Sick of that pink bathroom tile, popcorn ceilings, a stove older than you are? Whether it's repairs or reno, finance it smart with a Honeydew HELOC from 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union, where you can borrow up to 90% of your home's appraised value. You've got good taste, but your block counters ain't cheap. So get to work and open a Honeydew HELOC with 1-to-1 Financial. When you do, we'll send you a free handyman tool set to get started. Apply online at 121fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
Are you bored from being bored? Then put a little excitement in your life in a great pre-owned from Arlington Toyota. Our friends over at Arlington have over 400 used available. 400! All makes and models. Plus, you get 30 days to love your purchase or exchange it. And if your Beacon score is from 450 to 850, almost everyone is approved. I'm excited. Are you excited? Then shop in person and online at arlingtontoyota.com today. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/September for full details.
Temperatures keep climbing, and hotter weather means your body needs more water. Stay hydrated. CGC Water Treatment wants to make sure the water you and your family drink is cleaner, healthier, and tastes great. It starts with the Connecticut system, proudly made in America and installed by the pros CGC Water. Not sure about your water? Call CGC. They'll analyze your water for free. I haven't had to worry about my water since I got mine installed because Connecticut systems remove up to 99% of the contaminants. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Connecticut makes the world's most efficient softeners, non-electric twin tanks that use less salt and water during regeneration. Save up to $500 on select softener and RO systems this month. Financing available with approved credit. Call CGC Water at 904-552-1242. Call and ask about Conway Club, the new service program that will save you money on salt, filters, delivery, parts, and labor. Tell them Brent sent you and find out all the details and all the great ways you can save. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com, your local independent Connecticut dealer.
After a car accident, you can feel like you've lost control. I'm Mark Anajar from the law offices of Anajar and Levine. After the crash, call the police and document the scene by taking photos of all the vehicles involved. If you were injured, get medical attention as soon as possible. If you've been involved in a car accident, call the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000 for a free consultation. And take back control of your life. Office in Jacksonville.
Hey everybody, it's Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks. There's a good chance you have a smart speaker, so use it with ESPN 690. Stay up to date on the Jags and all things sports by telling Alexa or Google to play ESPN 690. It's as easy as that. Make sure you listen weekdays 3 until 6 p.m. on ESPN 690.
Yeah, that's a big deal, and it was a huge deal for him. For us as an offense, and you see how the game's different when you don't turn it over. You're in the game. You can, it helps you do different things, right, offensively. So great job by him protecting it, but protecting the ball is a job of all of us, right? I mean, it starts from the center quarterback exchange. You can't take that for granted. And then every guy that's entrusted with the ball, they got to do a great job of securing it. But it was a big deal, big deal.
That is Darrell Bevel, offensive coordinator of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Brent Martineau here at String Sports Brewery. Jaguars All Access coming up 7 o'clock on Fox 30. But come on out. We'll be here until 6. And then, of course, the show live at 7 right here at Strings each and every Thursday. Austin Lane, Casey Kurtz back in the Action Sports Shack studios. Can't get away from the urban story here. That was Darrell Bevel talking about the offense, Trevor Lawrence, and we'll continue to talk about some of that. And I really want to spin it toward Trevor in a moment. But you can't get away from this. Again, I was just telling you, I was down at St. Johns County Sports Club. Great folks down there, and annually go visit them, and that's all we talked about. Usually you touch on all these different topics. That's all everybody wanted to talk about, and that's all everybody continues to talk about. And one of the things is, will Urban make it through the year? Will he be fired or resigned? I have this big thought, Austin, that I don't think Urban Meyer will be fired this year. And the reason why I say that is, first of all, the owner has been extremely patient with a lot of people over the years. So he is one of the most patient owners in the league. That's been his trend. He also has invested so much. So unless there's a way to get out of the contract, which there might be, and do that, then I don't think he's going to make a move in terms of a firing. Now, that doesn't I could find scenarios that happens, and maybe the next couple of weeks, as Pro Football Talk kind of indicated, could tell the story. The Jags get lambasted the next couple of weeks. They're 0-6. It continues to be a mess inside the building. Then maybe there's just like, all right, we got to get away from this thing. Possibility. I think there's more of a chance, if anything, that I would say it would be a resignation. And I really, if I'm being completely honest, I say keep an eye on Sunday night into Monday. And this is not starting a rumor of I've heard. That's not it. I'm just saying if he thinks he's lost the football team and they play awful on Sunday and they come out and lay an egg and get whacked by Tennessee, well then I think there's a chance he looks at this thing as like, I can't rescue it. He's like, why am I doing this? I'm going to go repair my family stuff and get out of here. I just feel like I've had that situation in my mind. Like, could that happen? Now, I think that'd be a terrible move for Urban Meyer. But I guess that's the only thing that I see happening potentially, given all the circumstances that I just laid out. I feel like Urban Meyer is going to continue to be the head coach here in Jacksonville. I think this week showed that on Wednesday especially. But I would say if he doesn't make it, it would be resignation over a firing. But my money on the table says he will make it through this year at the very least.
Yeah, to me, the only way that Urban Meyer doesn't make it the entire season is if he gives Shad Khan no choice but to fire him. And I don't think we're to that point yet. And I don't think the record is even going to matter to that point. Like, I think Urban Meyer would have to do something even worse than what we saw in terms of distraction to garner him being fired. So essentially, Shad Khan left up, the future decisions up to Urban Meyer and Urban Meyer alone. I could foresee Urban Meyer stepping away early if it was a family issue. But we saw, I think one of his daughters put out a video talking about it. We've seen his wife talk about it and everything. And once again, it's really none of our business. We're not TMZ, but it seems like everything's good. So I'll take that as face value.
Well, they're supporting him, right?
Yeah, they're supporting him. So in terms of I got to step away because of my family, I have to rebuild that. Like, I don't see that being a narrative just from what, his family has said. Now, that could change, obviously, but I don't see that being an issue. Once again, I don't think wins and losses is going to be the deciding factor here either. So I think that Urban Meyer is going to stick it out through the entire season. And then what happens next year, that I could definitely see him walking away then. But I think he's going to ride this out. I really do, because I get the sense that if he doesn't ride out the entire season and nobody fires him and it's his choice to either to stay or leave, well, then the guys that he brought in, he's almost leaving them out to dry. Because while this roster and while this team isn't made up of all Urban Meyer guys, there are some friends here. There are some close connections here that he brought in personally. So if you walk away from it and say, well, it's too much, you leave those guys, your circle, out to dry. And I don't think Urban Meyer is that type of person. So I think he's going to stick it out through the entire season, come hell or high water.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you, and I know what you're saying there, too. I think here's the deal. Urban Meyer already had so many critics. We said it. It feels like he always has his target on his back, and people want to see him fail. I believe that. I believe there's a segment out there. Now, he might have created some of those circumstances, and I'm not defending him on that front. We've talked about this, Austin, go all the way back to December, right, when the Jags were thinking of hiring him. We know what existed before. What he did here is, in this last couple of days, this last week, is those folks he'll never win them over. He will never. If he had a clean slate here, won football games, none of this kind of stuff happened, he wins big, he leaves it in a good place at the end of the day, some 5, 6, 7 years down the road, whatever it might be, he had a chance to win even those people over and say, hey, maybe this was all medical stuff and blah, 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 all that. He has no way he's going to get those people. Those people are off the train. They were never on it and ain't coming on it. So what he really, again, I'm talking a little bit more legacy play, and I think this does matter to Urban, by the way. I think this matters to people, whether they would admit it or not. But especially when you've won as much as he did in the college game. I mean, there are thoughts that he came back down here to repair his image just from how people in Gainesville thought about him. And so now I believe he's aware of that, and he can't just go, as I said earlier this week, hightail it out of here. I think at least with the folks that will keep an open mind, and look at his entire career at the end of the day, some 25 years down the road, if he is somehow able to pull this organization out to the positive side, even through this mud of the last week, and of a 19-game losing streak, and bring Trevor along, and all this stuff, then he has a chance to be like, wow, this guy, hey, listen, you might not have liked him. You might not have respected some of the things he did. This guy could flat out coach. He could coach, you know. And there are people like that, Austin, right? I mean, we view a player as a really good player, but not a great whatever. We don't love the guy, but we admire the ability. And so I think Urban still has that on the table. And as I've said all this week, if Urban was right here at String Sports Brewery, I would say, listen, man, it's up to you. They entrusted you to pull this franchise out of the mud and flip it around. They invested a lot. I don't care what just happened in the last week. That is on you to do. Like, I'm assuming Shad Khan kind of said that to him in one way, shape, or form, but that's what I would say. I come back to a competitor. If you're a competitor, if you want to compete in life, if you want to compete in sports, you pick yourself up and, bam, you turn it around. And Urban, I think that's what he's tasked with now. I think that's what he's going to try to do, Austin. I don't know if it will work. I don't know.
Okay, so let me ask you this. And you're Shad Khan, and you obviously invested a lot of money in Urban Meyer. We don't know how much money you invested in Urban Meyer. And I think there was an overall consensus, at least in this city, that, all right, Shad Khan got this one right. And he even said that. We got it right this time.
He said that, yes.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people would agree with that. I mean, I think a lot of people were excited for Urban Meyer.
Yes, excited and get it right might be two different things. No, you're right. I mean, listen,
but
I applauded the move as well, so
yeah, I mean,
can't be hypocritical.
I think there was a general excitement of Urban Meyer coming to Jacksonville.
Yeah.
So if you're Shad Khan, and keep in mind, you're a businessman first and you're a football person second. All right, so you invest your time, energy, and effort of getting Urban Meyer to town. It's not working out so far. He's supposed to bring you out of the mud. One could say, well, you're deeper than when you started. Okay. Pending that nothing happens off the field anymore, and it goes based solely off of what we see on the field. If you're Shad Khan, and it's more of the same in terms of losing, and maybe the product decreases the next couple of weeks, do you let it ride the whole season, or do you step in and say, we aren't going in the direction that I envisioned us? Yes, this is his first year, but I see what's all transpired. I have to step in here and say, this maybe isn't the right direction. Maybe I did make a mistake, and maybe we have to think about letting Urban Meyer go. Like, do you see any foreseen circumstances, once again, where Urban doesn't get in trouble off the field, but I'm saying where the on-the-field product is going to force Shad Khan to come in and say, all right, this wasn't the right idea. We have to go in a different direction.
Yeah, I mean, I think he could do that. It depending on how deep he wants to dig inside the building, people talking, all those kind of things. If he wanted to do that in the middle of a season, Austin, I think he could find reason to say, okay, this is not working. I think the walls would talk in there right now, to be honest with you. So I think he could. What I go off is this trend of not doing that. He has been on record to say he does not like to make moves in the middle of the season. Heck, he has been patient. This would be some 5, 6, 7, however many games into a guy's career here in Jacksonville. And would you be able to get from the dollars do come up here? The investment comes up. So how much do you have to see it through before you just pull a plug on all the dollars that are invested? I think that does factor in, whether you want to believe it or not. So, yeah, I think I don't think even Shad Khan thought they'd be unbelievable this year. So the win-loss record might not matter as much as how much do you want to dig inside the building and have coaches saying, all right, this ain't going to work, or players say this isn't going to work, or people that have been in NFL buildings say, hey, this isn't working. Even before this week, this isn't working. You might be able to, listen, I've always said it, buildings talk, walls talk, people talk. If you want to dig that stuff up, you can. It just depends if you believe it or not. And if you want to ride through it. So, and that happens. I told you this week. I think there's a toxicity in every building in the NFL. So right now, it might be more than most here in Jacksonville.
I mean, I would say it's by far, more than most. I mean, if you're Shad Khan, do you do that, though? Do you get a litmus test right now of where this team is at? Because let's be honest here. He essentially handed Urban Meyer a blank check and said, if you want to change the facilities around, change the facility around. Because, that was the Urban Meyer goal. He came in here and said, we got to change this all around. We have to give them the best of the best of the best.
Yeah.
And that costs money. Now, obviously that's going to take time to build and it's going to take time to facilitate. They're nowhere even close to having the best of the best in a lot of areas yet, but they're getting there. But once again, if you're Shad Khan and you brought in a guy and said, all right, whatever you need to do it, and then you're a businessman and you see, well, has it been getting done the first 4 weeks? Will it be getting done the first 10 weeks or even the first season? I wonder if there is a point where Shad Khan has to go, okay, I got to see what's going on. Because let's be honest, he's not being hands-on with the situation, which maybe he shouldn't, because, he's not necessarily the biggest football guy. He's a businessman first, a football guy second. So, he's entrusted Urban Meyer. He's entrusted the people around him to run the football operations. I absolutely get that. But at what point do you go, okay, I got to at least peel behind the curtain here and see what is going on with the guys that I put in charge, the guys that I'm paying all this money to, because that's what a businessman can do sometimes as well.
Yeah, listen, I think I told you earlier this week, I think Shad Khan should have a conversation with some of the captains and especially Trevor Lawrence, but hide it behind all the captains. I really care what Trevor Lawrence thinks overall and just get a temperature. Now, whether that happens with all the stuff going on, that might not be realistic. But if they get lambasted on Sunday and lose another game, it might happen Monday morning if I'm Shad Khan, or Tuesday. Now, there's another time for this in 2 weeks when they hit the bye week. Do you come in here and you talk to some of these leaders, get a temperature for it, and see all the things that you just said? I think absolutely. I think Shad Khan, in the next few weeks, if he has not talked to the leaders on this football team in some capacity, and especially Trevor Lawrence, I think he's making a mistake. I think he needs to find out. Maybe that's even win or lose. How did this thing go over? Learn from it a little bit. I don't think he's stepping on anybody's toes doing that.
See, and I get, we understand Trevor Lawrence is the biggest deal on the team, and I get all that. But, wouldn't Myles Jack just be as crucial, if not more crucial, because Myles Jack's a guy who's been here through Gus Bradley. He's been here through Doug Marrone.
Yeah.
He's seen bad. He's seen real bad. And wouldn't you want to get his input as well, saying, okay, where are we at right now as a team? What's the locker room like? And how does this situation compare to the prior years that you've been in Jacksonville, Myles?
Yeah, I think if you look at the pros, Marvin Jones, Brandon Linder, Myles Jack would fit with his longevity here. But I think I would say the leadership, but again, I am trying to cultivate and nurture number 16 as much as possible if I'm Shad Khan, so he's got to be included. I just teased something about I think Urban Meyer needs Trevor Lawrence more than anybody right now. I'll talk about it and why I said that on the other side with a little historical reference. That's coming up live from String Sports Brewery here on ESPN 690.
What's up? It's Casey of Action Sports Jacks, and I have something brand new to ESPN 690 to share with you. Every Jags home game morning, we are bringing you ESPN 690 Game Day Live from the Duval House. Brent Martineau will be live at the Duval House, right next to the bank, and I'll be in studio getting you ready for a Jags home game, the other games around the NFL, fantasy football, and even some Survivor Pool advice as well. Listen live every Jags home game morning from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. It's ESPN 690 Game Day Live, sponsored by the Duval House.
Thursday night football on Fox. It's a battle in the best division in football. Touchdown, LA! The electrifying Matthew Stafford leads the high-powered Rams aerial attack into a huge NFC West clash. Look out! With the dangerous Russell Wilson and the Seahawks at the home of the 12th man. And here we go. Rams, Seahawks, tonight at 7:30 Eastern on Fox, NFL Network, and streaming on Prime Video. NFL Network and Amazon simulcast subject to change.
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month, but you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio.
Sponsored by Age of Learning.
Okay, I get it. So the summer season's almost over, but that's why we live in Florida. And that's why our friends at Arlington are doing fall Florida style with hot temps and even hotter deals. Get to Arlington Toyota today because they have 400 new Toyotas available with interest rates as low as 0% on over 10 new Toyota models. Plus, you get 30 days to love your purchase or exchange it. And every new car purchase gets a lifetime warranty with unlimited time and miles. Shop ArlingtonToyota.com today. Visit ArlingtonToyota.com/September for full details.
The American Freedom Tour is coming to Jacksonville. I'm Dean Black, chairman of the Republican Party of Duval County, and it's time for Republicans to get motivated and defend freedom. 2 historic days, Friday and Saturday, October 8th and 9th. Come see Donald Trump Jr., Kayleigh McEnany, Dan Bongino, Dinesh D'Souza, and many, many more. Get your tickets now at DuvalGOP.com. I will see you there.
The Center for Health and Sports Medicine delivers an individualized 360-degree approach to your health, providing a whole-person approach to primary care and sports medicine. With primary care and sports medicine physicians, mental health counselors, the sports performance lab, and 24/7 on-site state-of-the-art wellness center, all under one roof, they'll work to maximize your health by creating a foundational focus on physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional well-being. The MD VIP program provides even more benefits, like appointment guarantees and after-hour care. Learn more at jacksfamilysportsmed.com.
He's kept you ahead of storms.
This is going to be a very active afternoon of storms.
He's taken you inside storms.
Look at the Reds then that have shifted a little south of Jacksonville.
And for 33 years, the Chief has seen it all, forecasting severe weather days in advance. So when storms are headed your way, there is only one meteorologist to turn to tonight, the Chief. The knowledge and experience of Jacksonville's chief meteorologist, Mike Burrish. Action News Jack's First Alert Weather, only on CBS 47 and Fox 30.
JTech is a local nonprofit private institution of higher learning focused on essential career training such as automotive, diesel, HVAC, marine and RV technology, and commercial truck driving. They are currently hiring technical education instructors for all their programs. If you have experience in those fields, they want to talk to you about using your knowledge and skills to teach and prepare the next generation of skilled tradesmen and women. Give them a holler to start the process. Their phone number is 904-328-5599. Again, that's 904-328-5599. You've got the skills. Now it's time to give back. Get involved, feel good about your deeds, and lead the future of skilled trades labor.
500,000 businesses connect using Zoom. A single platform for video, phone, chat, and conference rooms. Zoom enables real-time collaboration no matter where your teams are. Global enterprises trust the easy-to-use, reliable, and secure Zoom platform to power high-performance teams. Empower your workforce with Zoom. Save 15% on meetings, chat, and phone with a Zoom United bundle. Visit zoom.com/bundle. Zoom, how the world connects.
The NFL is on. Key, Jay, and now Max Kellerman.
Here's a guy that you drafted in the first round that you think could potentially be the successor to Aaron Rodgers in the future, but could he at least be a damn backup?
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Weekday mornings at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2.
Well, yesterday, Kayleigh's practice got rained out, so she needed to hit. We hit right in the garage, baby. That's what we do because we cleared all the space out thanks to Easy Garage Solutions. Plenty of room to hit off the tee and that net. Hey, if you want to take some golf swings, you can create some room for that. Or maybe it's ping pong, foosball, make it a man cave. Easy Garage Solutions. That's what we did. Clear some of the space off the floor in your garage, or just use your garage for really what it was intended for. Park your cars. Easy Garage Solutions. One-of-a-kind monkey bar technology. Lasts a lifetime. Hang the bikes, lawn equipment, beach chairs. Get it off the floor. Easy Garage Solutions. Shelving and overhead storage for boxes and bins, Christmas decorations. Get it off the floor. Easy Garage Solutions. Go to easygaragesolutions.com. It's that easy.
Hey, what's up? It's Austin Lane. Check out Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 or ESPN690.com.
Hey, welcome back. String Sports Brewery. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Casey Kurtz here on a Thursday. We got Thursday Night Football. Good one tonight, by the way, huh? How about that?
I
Can't
like
wait
it.
To pick it.
What a treat.
I think I said my MVP this year. I'm pretty sure I said Russell Wilson. He's off to a heck of a start. He is a fast starter the last couple of years, isn't he?
He is, yeah. And then all of a sudden the team chooses to run the ball more towards the end of the season, and his numbers go out the window in classic Russell Wilson fashion.
Yeah, and some of that was with Darrell Bevel. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, am I wrong?
No.
Yeah.
No. Can he carry it through? Are they good enough? What has he got, 16 touchdowns and no interceptions? I mean, that's unbelievable.
Insane. But to be fair, though, Brent, I think to give Darrell Bevel a little credit, I think that was more of a Pete Carroll call because Pete Carroll was tired of seeing his defense getting gashed, so he wanted to slow the game down.
I agree.
He wanted to run the football more, so I don't think Darrell Bevel really had a choice regardless.
Here's the thing. We don't think Seattle's that good, but Russell Wilson is so good. And if you want to watch a maturation of a quarterback, to me, Russell Wilson is a great example. Listen, Patrick Mahomes good right away, and he's going to keep getting better. Josh Allen, that's cool. Like what he started off not so good, and look where he is. Mm-hmm. But you want to watch a way to allow a quarterback to find himself in the NFL. What Seattle did, to me, is the standard, the blueprint. They had the run the football, play defense for a first couple of years. And by the way, New England and Brady were a little bit like this too. I always mention him in this respect. But Russell Wilson for the first few years didn't have to do that much. He had to make plays when it was time to make plays, but it wasn't all on him is my point. And then as you see it go along, now he can do it all himself when he needs to. He can go win you football games. And now I think the next level of this is hardly mistakes. The guy doesn't make many mistakes, and that falls into the Brady kind of Manning category later in their career, maybe even Aaron Rodgers if you look at touchdowns versus interceptions. Like, I think there are just levels of your quarterbacking career when you're really good, and I think Russell Wilson is just an awesome example of a guy who we have watched grow. If you really look closely at what has gone on there, we have watched him start as a kind of a game manager, somewhat playmaker, to now one of the absolute best who probably doesn't get talked about enough.
Yeah, I mean, I would say Dak Prescott falls in that category as well.
That's a good call.
Yeah, I mean,
the problem with him is he just hasn't won big yet,
No, I mean, no, for sure. But I think in terms of, you have a 6th-round guy. You say 6th round or 5th round? 5th round?
Who?
Dak Prescott.
4th round for Dak.
I was way off. Okay, 4th-round guy come in, start unexpectedly, and obviously they kind of ease him into a little bit. And if you look at his stats year by year, his attempts have gone, drastically up season by season. Obviously last year he gets hurt, so you can't really count that one. But, yeah, I just think that when you have a good offensive line, when you have a running game, and when you have a defense that can complement your offensive line, it sets your quarterback up for success.
Yeah, it does. All right, listen, I want to get to this real quick. I asked her a couple minutes ago on social media and just never got to it last segment because we were talking more Urban Meyer. But I said Urban Meyer needs Trevor Lawrence more than ever. And so I was talking at St. John's County Sports Club today, and I brought this up because I was thinking of it this morning. Think about Urban Meyer's career, Austin. He had Alex Smith at Utah, very good quarterback. Obviously had really good quarterbacks, and several of them won national title at Ohio State. You need good quarterbacks if you're going to win big, and he did. Well, now you go back to the Florida days, and look at the Florida's the best example because of the mud that they're in right now, of some of the stuff that went on there. But who was able to not cover it up, I don't want you to misinterpret me, but kind of perception-wise at least hide some of that, right? Like say, okay, yeah, that's going on, but, well, that was Tim Tebow. Tebow there at Florida, I always thought would make the greatest 30 for 30 of all that stuff going on in the locker room with some of those players from Aaron Hernandez to Percy Harvin fighting coaches to whoever else. And then you had Tebow kind of holding it all together. Well, it got me thinking that here's Trevor Lawrence. And Trevor Lawrence is well, I'm not going to sit here and equate him to Tebow, but you kind of get the idea that this is like an all-world guy. He's a mature guy. He's all about team. He wants to win. He'll all these things that now when Trevor talks like yesterday, it feels like, okay, it makes you feel better, right? That's Trevor. Look at the growth. Well, I think this week especially and through the rest of the year, nobody needs Trevor Lawrence now more than Urban Meyer. He needed him anyway, but now he really needs him. And he might survive all of this stuff and have Trevor Lawrence to thank after the fact. You get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying, but to me, Urban Meyer needs the guys that are going to help purvey his message of believing him again. Not to say Trevor Lawrence isn't one of those guys, but he's still rookie in the NFL. And this is still a guy who's trying to figure it all out right now at the quarterback position. So when you are a rookie, in terms of respect in the locker room, every guy in the locker room respects Trevor Lawrence. And maybe Trevor Lawrence has earned his stripes, but I don't think Trevor Lawrence is to the point right now where he knows how to purvey what Urban Meyer is trying to do. We've seen that in the press conferences and just saying he has Urban Meyer's back, but is Trevor Lawrence trying to tell everybody, hey, we got to believe in Urban Meyer? Well, no, because it's your first year in the NFL. What do you know from that standpoint? So I agree with you. Urban Meyer needs Trevor, but Urban Meyer also needs Marvin Jones. He needs Miles Jack. He needs the veterans that are also the captains to go, all right, guys, we've seen some of this stuff before. I've been in locker rooms where it kind of fell apart. We got to stay together here. Here's what he's looking for. We got to be on the same page. I'm just not sure if Trevor Lawrence is in his career right now to be able to do that part of getting the team to rally behind the head coach.
That's a good thought, too, and that's kind of more internally in the building. I guess what I was kind of saying from a perception standpoint, you got this good all-American kid, wholesome guy, kind of like Tebow was presented, back then, with Urban to kind of say, okay, you got this, but you got this. Mm-hmm. And if he can have success, and we're talking about Trevor on Monday instead of Urban, that goes a long way to kind of salvage this thing for Urban Meyer potentially. We'll be back, String Sports Brewery, more NFL talk, more Jags talk, all on the way, and Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
For the ones going above and beyond. For the ones reaching out, helping out, and lending a hand. For the ones people count on. You can count on Grainger. Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry. Backed by 24/7 customer support and specialists to help with hard-to-find products. Because you've got everyone's back. We've got yours. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger. For the ones who get it done.
Hey, boss, explain to me again why we're here at this pumpkin patch in the middle of the night.
I told you, since pumpkin prices have gone through the roof this year, we're gonna swipe these babies so we can sell them and make a fortune.
I don't like it, boss. Why can't we go back to breaking into houses?
Because so many people have discovered Safe Touch security that it's putting us out of business. You know we stay away from Safe Touch houses.
I know, boss, but stealing pumpkins?
You got a better idea, Sunshine? I mean, between Safe Touch's 45-second response time, the two-way communicator...
Boss, wait. What is that? Over there near that big pumpkin.
Oh, no. Is that what I think it is?
Boss, it's a Safe Touch sign. The patch is wired.
Quick, get to the van.
I'm going, boss.
They must have video monitoring. Curse you, Lester Jackson.
Let's get out of here.
Oh, I hate Safe Touch.
Folks, know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call 886-4664 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
Know what time it is? It's time to get moving. Cora Physical Therapy has opened a new state-of-the-art clinic in Kingsland on Boone at Haddock and will be opening another one soon in Brunswick. With Cora, you have access to licensed, passionate clinicians, only the most innovative equipment, and life-changing therapies. Cora is all about treating everyone right now. It's your move. Visit coraphysicaltherapy.com for a free screening. No physician's referral required. Same-day appointments available.
Sick of big banks drawing money out of Jacksonville? Want your money to stay here and help local folks? At 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union, all of our capital is invested back into Northeast Florida. This includes our all-new hometown credit card. You get all the rewards and perks of a big bank, and every swipe invests back in Jax. Get 2 points for every $1, up to 50,000 bonus points, 24/7 fraud protection, pay with points, and tons more. Support your community with a hometown credit card from 1-to-1 Financial. Apply at 121fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA, a proud Visa partner.
For 50 years, Taylor has been a leader in caring for the elderly. Providing quality, compassionate care has always been our mission. At Taylor Care Center and Taylor Manor, our recipe for success has always been our exceptional team. They work tirelessly to ensure that your family member gets the best care possible. When residents were not able to spend time with you and your family, our team stepped up to celebrate birthdays, anniversaries, and special occasions. Our dedicated staff is among the best in the business. Taylor Residence, providing safe, compassionate care every day.
ESPN 690 is home for the Florida Sportsman Fishing Show hosted by Captain Rick Riles. Tune in every Saturday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. to find out what's biting now. Fishing so fresh, you can almost smell it.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Steve Lennox. First pitch, White Sox Astros coming up shortly from Houston. Game 1 of their American League Division Series available on ESPN Radio affiliates today. Lance Lynn opposes Lance McCullers Jr. White Sox in the postseason for a second straight year. For the first time in club history, have left pitcher Dallas Keuchel off their ALDS roster. Astros have done the same with pitcher Jake Odorizzi. Today on Bart and Hahn, Bart Scott reacting to Green Bay signing linebacker Jalen Smith.
When you talk about what it costs the Green Bay Packers, it costs them nothing, right? Because Dallas Cowboys are picking up his $7 million contract. So, that means that he gets a double dip, or they don't have to pay him all his money. They can give him a small contract, so it doesn't affect them from a salary cap standpoint. What it gives them is an athletic linebacker, a playmaker.
Smith was cut by the Cowboys earlier this week. Browns quarterback Baker Mayfield will continue to play despite a partially torn labrum in his left shoulder. Mayfield suffered the injury in Week 2. Montreal Canadiens goaltender Carey Price has left the team and has voluntarily entered the league's player assistance program.
We're back on Friday reacting to a huge divisional game to kick off Week 5 in the NFL. We'll tell you if the Rams bounce back or fall further behind the Cardinals in the NFC West. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, Friday morning on ESPN Radio.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios.
This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
The guy that just keeps making plays for us is Agnew. You know, he's been a receiver for a year, and you talk about a workaholic and a grinder. He's little, but he plays bigger than he is. Made a heck of a play Sunday, and then you have Tyron, who's marked improved. He's a very talented guy, the guy we got from the Chargers. And then you got Devin Smith, and you got Treadwell. They're fighting for that last spot.
That is Urban Meyer talking about the receiving core of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Agnew, Tavon Austin, expect some more out of them. Laviska Shenault should get the ball more with DJ Chark out. We'll see what happens in the passing game of the Jaguars. I think Marvin Jones is going to really have to play big now for the Jags. Brent Martineau here at String Sports Brewery in Springfield. Come on out. Be here until 6. We're here every Thursday. And now Jaguars All Access is here every Thursday as well. Shaq Griffin will join us. He joins us virtually. So you can come on out, see the show, be live on TV with us. And Shaq will join us as well each and every week. 7 o'clock on Fox 30 if you don't make it out. But I invite you to come out to Strings, and you get to see a good Thursday night football game as well if you hang around. Just had the Mahi sandwich. It's fantastic. And obviously, I haven't had the beverages yet, or probably won't. But you can, certainly. Brent buys a beer today, too. You better come in and get your beer if I bought you one, because you have about 30 days to do it. Moose did it last week. I don't know if anybody else. I have to check the board, see if anybody else has done it. Austin Lane, Casey Kurtz in the Action Sports Jack studios. All right, Urban Meyer, Jags, a lot of talk there. Major League Baseball playoffs. How about around the NFL? Who would you buy stock in right now more with the move they made? And keep it in the context. We think Green Bay is better than Carolina, but I want to put it in the context of which move will help the team more. So Jalen Smith going to Green Bay, Stephon Gilmore going to Carolina, Austin.
I mean, I'm taking Stephon to Carolina all day, pending he's going to be healthy. I mean, this is a guy who grew up around the area, so you get the sense that he probably wants to play there and play with the Carolina Panthers. You know, with Smith, there's still the question mark of can you get the best out of him, or have we seen the best out of Jalen Smith? So it's more of a mental thing. Do they have the coaches that can pull the best out of Jalen Smith? You get the sense that Stephon Gilmore is a true professional. He's been doing it for a while, coming from the Patriots organization that expects nothing but their best. I think he can go in there and influence a locker room and show how things are done. So I think in the grand scheme of things, it's hands down the Carolina Panthers got the better deal here.
Yeah, those are pretty good moves early in the season by both teams. You know, I mean, there's a lot of upside to both those moves. Now, keep in mind, Gilmore won't be around for, I think another couple of weeks when he gets back from that quad injury. But certainly a lot of upside to those kind of moves. And this is really, for a Carolina standpoint, really working out because of two big moves they made. Now, you could include Matt Rule as the first, domino. But I really think two moves that they made in the last couple of years. Joe Brady, and now Casey's guy, Sam Darnold. The commitment to that has kind of, it's worked so far. Mm-hmm. And Joe Brady looks very good and comfortable and getting the best out of Sam Darnold. I mean, you look at those are the moves I talk about, Austin, when I say, hey, you got to make a bold play. Well, listen, investing in Sam Darnold and thinking this guy still has not everybody would have done that in the league. Well, Joe Brady, I think a lot of people would have wanted. I mean, coming off the LSU and Burrow year and all that stuff, and everybody's going with a hot shot, young offensive mind. But Sam Darnold, rolling the dice with him, I think in year 3 of Rule, that was a little bit of a gamble, and it's working out.
See, it was a gamble, but at the same time, it wasn't really a gamble. Because if you're Carolina, you gave up a 6th-round pick, a 2nd-round pick, and a 4th-round pick from the following year then to get Sam Darnold. You're getting a guy that, was seeing ghosts, that had mono. It was a mess in New York. So you weren't really confident of where Sam Darnold was at. You bring him into a new offense, a new environment, and he's flourishing. But, where Carolina sat in that draft and everything, there was no guarantee, even if they were going to draft, if they didn't trade up, they were going to get their guy in the first place. So I always felt like Sam Darnold came in as kind of a placeholder just to see, maybe the next year they can get a quarterback. But they were surprised of how good Sam Darnold's doing, and now he's the guy. There's not going to be any draft talks next year, I don't think, for the Carolina Panthers getting a quarterback. I think there would have been draft talks if Sam Darnold was just average or below average. That's not the case so far. So I don't want to say they lucked into it because at the end of the day, they did risk it for Sam Darnold. But in terms of what they gave up to, I think, a bridge guy, I think it worked out for him. Casey, you're a rebuttal because you're getting an attitude back there, I can tell.
Well, I was just, bridge guy. Sam Darnold, I don't know about all that now, but, it's cool. Sam Darnold continuously proving people wrong.
Sure.
He'll keep doing it all year, all the way to the MVP. They definitely got better with these moves, and you love to see it if you've been so high on the Panthers like I have.
Well, and let me be honest though, as far as the draft talk next year at the quarterback position, that's not even in the conversation, right?
No, sir.
I mean, from what we've seen so far.
No, sir.
Yeah, no,
absolutely.
Sir.
You build around Sam Darnold at this point.
Yeah.
Hey, and that could really work out for the Carolina Panthers. We got the injury report for the Jags. Carlos Hyde practiced full today and yesterday. Tyson Campbell limited with a toe last 2 days. Lorente McCray limited today after not practicing yesterday. Roy Robertson-Harris continues to be out. They're getting nothing out of Roy Robertson-Harris, and that wasn't a huge investment, but it was one of their first moves they made, and they're really getting nothing out of it. How about the injury report for the Tennessee Titans? Did you see how long that thing was?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I mean,
that's Harry
straight
Potter
out of
and the Sorcerer's Stone over here.
I think it's straight out of the Patriots playbook, I feel like the Patriots used to put, Tom Brady on there all the time. They used to have everybody on there. And there are, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 people listed on the injury report for the Titans.
Yeah, well, and 11 of those guys practiced. So, you know, it's – and Derrick Henry is one of those guys. So 13, I guess 12 or 13 because Derrick Henry obviously just needs some rest.
But the big watch this week is A.J. Brown and Julio Jones.
Yep, and A.J. Brown is practicing full today.
Did Julio Jones?
Julio Jones did not practice.
Of course not.
Sorry about that. Condolences. A.J. Brown's full.
I mean, it's almost like they put people on there if they had a headache.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's like a little gamesmanship, but
I think it is.
It's definitely a laundry list full of players, and like I said, I mean, half of those guys on that list practice full today, so let's go ahead and get them off here because they're fine. But yeah, I think it is a little gamesmanship. I don't know what you get out of it, but okay, we're talking about it. Mission accomplished.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, maybe they're beat up, and I mean, the bottom line is they're pretty beat up at the wide receiver position last week. Those guys didn't play, so that was legit.
Well, let me ask you this, Brent. Obviously, Carlos Hyde practiced back-to-back full days, so he'll be active and be playing this Sunday. What does the run look like for Carlos Hyde? Are we going to see the rotation with him and James Robinson, or based off what we saw in Cincinnati and the groove that James Robinson found himself in against a pretty good Bengals team, do we see a lot more of the lion's share going to James Robinson now, and Carlos Hyde just kind of spells him every once in a while?
Yeah, I think it will be mostly James, like 90 to 95%, and I think at least this week they can say, hey, let's make sure that shoulder's good. Let's not do anything we shouldn't be doing and overdo it with you, especially since we got this guy who's playing fantastic. So, and by the way, I think a little bit of that is they shouldn't have been doing it anyway, as much as they probably were, although I've said in the past I think that story was a little overdone. The bottom line is they weren't giving to their running backs enough. It didn't matter who it was. They weren't giving it to them early on in the season. It seems like they're getting in more of a groove. But James Robinson, I think it's a little bit a part of this game. I mean, everybody's talking about Derrick Henry, man. What if James Robinson has a coming out party in this game at home against the Titans, outperforms Derrick Henry? I'm not saying it puts him on his level, but it would be a big-time moment. And that was after last week we discussed going toe-to-toe with Joe Mixon. I think everybody gets wrapped up in the quarterback battles, but with this guy in the backfield for the Jags, getting caught up in the running back battle is not a bad thing. Keep an eye on it.
No, for sure. I wonder what the game plan of the Jacksonville Jaguars is going to be on offense, because you have a Titans defense right now that's obviously been struggling in all assets, but this is a team that you can throw against. And I understand that DJ Chark, is going to be out for a long period of time. I understand, in terms of the tight end position, hopefully Dan Arnold can keep on progressing and you have a weapon in the middle. But I just watched a New York Jets team with Zach Wilson kind of throw it all over the field. And don't get me wrong, James Robinson should be the primary focus here of this game and of this team. But I wonder if this is the game where Trevor Lawrence breaks out a little bit and says, okay, we have the guys that can beat their defensive backs. Let's try to get in a shootout a little bit with the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, that could be the case. I mean, we've talked about that a little bit. But James Robinson, I mean, how good is this guy? The Jags have had backs like Fred Taylor and Maurice Jones-Drew in their history. Leonard Fournette had a big year in 2017. I don't think we talk about James enough, man. I mean, you've been seeing – I feel like we're seeing a little bit of a maturation from him. We talked about a little more wiggle and speed from him than last year. His body type looks a little different. I don't know if that's 25 wearing that jersey compared to 30. Sometimes that does it, to your eyes, plays funny games. But, I mean, how good is this guy? Are we talking about the next big running back in Jags history here?
I mean, he's well on his way, for sure. You're talking about a guy who rushed over 1,000 yards his rookie year, a guy that should have been a Pro Bowler his rookie year. He's well on his way. I think the only caveat now with James Robinson is the fact that he's not playing on a winning franchise. So from the national narrative, he gets zero respect. A lot of guys don't know who James Robinson is just because he gets lost behind losses. But I think that if you start turning this thing around, you start winning games, I mean, you're going to start winning games because of James Robinson. And he's given us no reason why we shouldn't expect, more progress from his skill set. So, yeah, I think James Robinson is going to be the next great Jaguars running back. It comes into mind of how they use him. Because those first couple of games obviously didn't get the rocking up, but then also was splitting time with Carlos Hyde. I think eventually you got to go, this guy is special. We got to give him the primary share of the carries and go from there.
Let me just ask you, from a defensive standpoint, why is James Robinson good? Like, what is it, the downhill nature of him? Leonard Fournette came in with that downhill nature, yet I've never seen a running back in Jags history have so many negative runs or 0 yardage runs than Leonard Fournette. He didn't always go downhill. Now, he wasn't afraid of contact. He wasn't afraid to run you over. The Pittsburgh thing comes to mind, right? Bring on the challenge. And I like Leonard. I think he had a really good year in 17. I had some other good moments, too. And he was pacing, if he stayed in Jacksonville, to have a very, very nice career. here in Jacksonville, and he's just coming off a nice performance Monday night. So this is not a knock on Leonard, but James Robinson doesn't have those negative runs. He seems more decisive to me. He can kind of find that hole where he makes one shift and gets another 3 or 4 yards. He's not as big as Derrick Henry, but he seems to fall forward a lot for 3 or 4 yards.
Yeah, to me, like when you look at the running back position of like how it's, evolved over the past decade or so, like to me, there's pre-Le'Veon Bell and then there's the post-Le'Veon Bell. And like with Le'Veon Bell, he kind of, I don't want to give him so much credit here, but he really revolutionized what we thought a running back could be in terms of receiving and pass catching. Like, I get it. There's been other guys like that before, Daniel Thomas. There's been tons. But like the way that Le'Veon Bell ran with the football, like where he essentially just kind of stopped at the line of scrimmage and then would let things open up. Like I hadn't seen a lot of that before. And I think a lot of guys mimic that style a little bit just because it did allow you to get 6, 7, 8, sometimes a 20-yard gain just from being patient, letting the hole develop, letting the hole open up. And I think a lot of running backs tried to copy that style because it was conducive to health, because now you're not, colliding at full speed right away. You're letting things open up a little more to get you to a safer spot. So a lot of running backs started to do that. The issue was, though, is that not everybody had Le'Veon Bell's vision. Like, what made Le'Veon Bell, and keep in mind, he's had a fall from grace now in terms of the guy that he was in Pittsburgh compared to the guy that we're reminded of, whether he's in Baltimore, Kansas City, or New York. But the Le'Veon Bell in Pittsburgh, he had that vision. That's what made him so good, was he was patient, but he had the vision to go with it. Not every running back can do that. In James Robinson's, perspective, and also maybe a little bit of Derrick Henry, yeah, they have the vision, but it's more of they don't want to be patient. They want to get a full head of steam going, get some momentum built up, and then dish out punishment. So it does come down to vision. And that, to me, is why I think James Robinson, you don't see a lot of tackles in the backfield just because he's always running downhill. But the prerequisite with that is he has the vision to couple that, and now also you got something special with James Robinson.
Yeah, no doubt about it. We'll see if he can have a big day on Sunday. Everybody expects big days every time Derrick Henry takes the field. I think Steven has a thought or two on Derrick Henry. Let's get him in here in Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. What's happening, man?
Hey, not too much. How are you guys doing today?
Doing good, man.
Yeah, I wanted to get your guys' opinion because if you go back to the first game last year, which was basically James Robinson's coming out day, because he actually beat Derrick Henry. He was over 100 yards, had a touchdown that game. And for some odd reason, if you go back a couple years, or for the past couple years, in the first game against the Titans, Derrick Henry's only at he plays us only at 50% because he's never broken 100 yards in the first game of the season. And if the receivers are out, or maybe one of them, and this team keeps progressing the way it should, I think we ultimately have a good chance because their defense isn't that good. You can throw the ball on them. And honestly, I think you should just pull the same game plan on the Titans. Establish a hard run with James Robinson and just start going play action, just like the Titans on their own self.
All right, Steven, thanks for the call, man. Appreciate it. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 904-362-9901. Listen, I don't know how good the Titans are, Austin, but I think we also know that the Jags aren't that good either.
Yeah. No, for
so
sure.
anytime somebody says about another team, hey, they might not be that good, or this isn't that good, or you can do this or that, I'm like, okay, can you though?
Yeah.
I mean, right now, until the Jags slow somebody down in the passing game, they can't stop anybody. And, hey, Kansas City can't stop anybody either, but they can also go throw 5 touchdowns with Patrick Mahomes and outscore you. Mm-hmm. Can the Jaguars do that? Well, they couldn't the other day. They couldn't last week. Not with the way the defense played in the second half. So I get it. I think Tennessee is not even close to where we thought Tennessee would be a month through the year. I think they got a very fortunate against Seattle to have a really good second half, and things went right and they won the game. Hat tip to them, they won the game. Mm-hmm. But I think Tennessee is not nearly as good as I thought they might be coming into here on Sunday. I also didn't envision the Jaguars being 0-4, though, Austin.
No, for sure. I didn't see that coming at all. Yeah, I mean, if you want to go back to that Thursday night game, Derrick Henry had 17 carries, Marcus Mariota had 6, and then Deion Lewis had 3. The Jaguars did a fantastic job of shutting Derrick Henry down for an average of 2.59 yards. So, yeah, if you shut Derrick Henry down, you got a good shot of winning. That's what we saw back in 2019. Can you do that with Joe Cullen? I can see that, but I also see an offense now that has evolved a little bit. The goal is still to give Derrick Henry the ball nonstop and use the play action and all of that. But now they have guys like A.J. Brown, who only had 1 reception. He was still kind of coming up back in 2019 when the Jaguars, won Thursday night, when it was Gardner Minshew's coming out party and also James Robinson's, you can say, coming out party. Their offense has evolved a little bit where you have to respect it a little more. And Joe Cullen alluded to this today. They can be explosive. And when you say a team can be explosive, yes, obviously Derrick Henry can go 80 out the gate anytime that he wants to. We've seen that before with Jacksonville. But they also have, and pending they're going to be healthy, A.J. Brown looks like he's going to be healthy. They also have receivers, though, that can beat you deep as well. They have a tight end who is, suitable to beat you as well. So there's other guys out there that can beat you now. I'm not sure if that was the case back in 2019. Like, yeah, Delaney Walker, he was good. Adam Humphries, okay. Corey Davis at the time was a roller coaster. One day he had 5 touchdowns. One day he had 0 targets. They were okay, but they're a different team from what we saw back on Thursday night in 2019.
Yeah. Hey, one other NFL thought for now. Tonight's game, Rams and Seahawks. Ramsey against Metcalf. Will we see it, and how good is that?
I mean, yeah, I'm not sure what the plan's going to be with Ramsey because I think is Tyler Lockett playing as well, or is he out? He's playing. All right, he's playing.
Is he playing?
Yeah, so I'm not sure if I don't know. I don't know how they're going to play it. In the past, we have seen Jalen Ramsey just straight up cover DK Metcalf and do a great job on him. I think with Tyler Lockett in the slot now, you might see Jalen Ramsey go back and forth with him. I think the Rams are the point, Brent, where with Jalen Ramsey, they keep you guessing. That's where they are on defense right now. I want to see the DK Metcalf, Jalen Ramsey showdown. I'm just not sure if we see it 100%.
Yeah, what's interesting to me about Ramsey this year is all the slot play. Does that surprise you? I mean, we think about an outside corner shutting down half the field. Obviously, he can do it all, and he's doing it well. Is that just the nature of the game in the NFL? Is that a matchup thing? Why is he playing in the slot so much?
I just think because it gives them a lot more opportunity to get Jalen Ramsey involved. If you watched any of the Rams games this year, when he's in the slot, that gives you a better opportunity to make plays in the backfield, which he has. So he's helped out in the run game as well. He's helped out with the bubble screens, all this stuff. So when you move him around, it's not just you can go, okay, well, if Ramsey's going to be on DK Metcalf the entire game, we got to go Tyler Lockett the entire game, right? Because that makes sense. We don't want to throw too much to Jalen Ramsey. Well, that's not the case now. If Jalen Ramsey's all over the place, well, now quarterbacks got to check that out. They got to audible out of things. They got to adjust routes, if you will. And obviously in the run game, it changes things up more. So to me, it's an example of using, well, I don't know, Aaron Donald's pretty good as well, but using one of your best players on defense as much as you can, getting the maximum that you can out of one of your best players. And that's what you're doing right now with Jalen Ramsey out of the slot.
Well, one of the most underrated facets of Jalen Ramsey, and I think everybody knows it, just doesn't talk about it as much, is the physical nature of him. I mean, he's really physical at that corner position, and like you said, in the run game, he can be as well. I just don't see the Jags. Would they have allowed him to do that? I don't know. I've really watched closely how the Rams have treated Ramsey compared to how the Jags and all that stuff. Now, Ramsey's a little older, a little bit more mature, but I feel like they really try to prop Ramsey up. They try to feed into the character and ego that he is and has, and they've done a good job of that. And some of that might even be going over to the slot. It might just be appeasing. Hey, I want to go in there. I want to play more plays. Well, I'm bored on the outside. And it's almost like they're willing to do that and give him a voice. And this organization, let's be honest, during that tumultuous stretch wasn't.
Well, see, to me, it's a testament to the defensive coordinator and the position coach as well. Because I remember when they interviewed Ramsey about it, I think this might have even been in the summertime, he even said, he was hesitant to do that because he's not accustomed to playing there. And obviously at the cornerback position, you want to play where you're comfortable, right? It's all about comfort and your mindset. But then he said as soon as he started making plays, as soon as he started getting more involved in the run game and his name was getting called more, well then yeah, he was all on board for it. So to me, it was a great job by this Rams coaching staff of even elevating Jalen Ramsey to another echelon and saying, hey, we value you. You're one of the best corners in the league. Now we're going to pay you and go get some more plays.
Yeah, Jalen Ramsey, DK Metcalf could be really good tonight. We are live at String Sports Brewery in Springfield. It's really good. Jaguars All Access, 7 o'clock, Fox 30. Come on out. We'll be here until 6, and then we'll be here at 7 until 7:30. Come on out, say hello. We are here all afternoon at String Sports Brewery. We'll be right back. Can FSU win 2 in a row? Oh, we'll talk about that on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Partly cloudy and humid today with a few scattered showers and thunderstorms developing. Highs near 85, dropping to near 70 tonight. And partly to mostly cloudy for your Friday, some on and off showers and a few thunderstorms. Highs tomorrow in the low to mid 80s. From the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish. Join me today beginning at 5 p.m. on CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jax.
The weather meter is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds. Don't miss Beard's BOGO Wedding Band Sale October 8th through the 24th.
Mr. and Mrs. Flavor, thank you for joining us.
Great to be here. I'm Barry, the flavor of berry.
I'm Janet. I'm bitter.
And I understand your son is the flavor menthol?
Yes, he's the menthol in a menthol cigarette.
He's such a disappointment. Out there getting people addicted, being used by big tobacco to target black people. He could have been a lozenge.
Menthol cigarettes are harder to quit than regular cigarettes. Find out how to quit today at tobaccofreeflorida.com.
When you think about Jacksonville, you think about a city that is surrounded by water. And being by water afforded Jacksonville to have one of the largest container ports in the entire country. And another fun fact that RV sales are at all-time high right now. But what does this all mean? What am I getting at? It means that there's high-paying jobs available for those that know the ins and outs of the marine side and of the land side of recreational vehicles. And this is where JTech comes into play. JTech offers a program where you can learn about the diagnostic procedures and effective repair methods of a variety of recreational vehicles, including motorhomes and RVs, power boats, jet skis, diesel and gasoline, outboard and inboards, and much more. And they also help prepare students to take the Yamaha certification exam, which is required in the Marine Maintenance Certification Program. To learn more about JTech, visit jtech.org or call them at 904-483-9460. Ask for Hank to set up an appointment to tour the campus or get your questions answered. That's 904-483-9460 or visit jtech.org.
It's that time of year again, and all eyes are now turning to football as teams are back on the gridiron. BetOnline.net is your #1 spot for all the pro and college football odds and news this season. Get all the updated info on players, teams, and odds to help you with your new football contests, leagues, and new survivor pools. BetOnline.net is the fastest and easiest way to check in on all your favorite sports. Pro sports, MMA, championship boxing, golf, horse racing, they have it all. Bring the game home with BetOnline.net, where the game starts.
The Community Spotlight Award this week goes to Robert Palmer and the entire team at RP Funding and the Jacksonville Armada. RP Funding is a great partner in the community. They're a huge supporter of our youth and goodwill of our entire community, including the Dream 18 Golf Tournament. If you see Robert Palmer or anyone from RP Funding or the Jacksonville Armada, thank them for being a great partner in the community. The Community Spotlight Award recognizes those that are great community partners. Again, this week's Community Spotlight Award goes to RP Funding and the Jacksonville Armada.
Hey, I'm Carrie.
And I'm Bruce. We're the owners of Koala Insulation. As the heat of the summer drags on, stop wondering if you have an insulation problem and call us for a free evaluation. We don't quote over the phone or just poke our heads up in your attic. We do a full evaluation to include attic ventilation needs as well as insulation.
Give us a call at 904-679-6282 or online at koalainsulation.com.
Men, do you feel embarrassed in the bedroom because of ED or PE? Prime Men's Medical Center has the solution.
I'm Dr. Brown. 98% of patients experience a positive result from the treatment in just 10 minutes after just one office visit. Men are lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer, and it's affordable.
Call Prime Men's Medical Center at 904-664-8217. See results on your first visit guaranteed or pay nothing. Call 904-664-8217.
Join us for the Autism Speaks Walk as the autism community reunites to support one another and fuels the mission to promote solutions across the spectrum and throughout the lifespan for people with autism and their families. Your commitment is what empowers Autism Speaks to provide crucial resources, research, advocacy, and support for millions of children and adults on the autism spectrum. Together, we can create a world where all people with autism can reach their full potential. To register, visit autismspeaks.org.
At Lowe's, we believe fashion and function should live together, especially when it comes to flooring. That's why we put together a showroom with the top stylish brands like Bruce Hardwood, Smart Core Luxury Vinyl, and Satori Tile, all known for their reliable durability. See everything our showroom has in store for you. Order now and get it installed with help from Lowe's. Home to any budget, home to any possibility. Install available in-store only and through independent contractors. See Lowe's.com for details and licensing. U.S. only.
Southern Recipe Pork Rinds.
Southern Recipe pork rinds are the bold flavor crunch you crave in a no-carb snack. Crush them in keto-friendly recipes for an extra collagen protein kick. Yep, Southern Recipe pork rinds have 0 carbs, naturally gluten-free, and loaded with collagen. Get your crunch on at southernrecipe.com/radio today. That's southernrecipe.com/radio.
Southern Recipe Pork Rinds.
Visit your local Tractor Supply Company today for your Southern Recipe pork rinds.
It's a new approach to healthcare. The Center for Health and Sports Medicine is built on the pillars of health: physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional, with primary care sports medicine physicians, mental health counselors, an advanced diagnostics lab for wellness and sports medicine, and 24/7 on-site state-of-the-art fitness facility, all under one roof. What does this mean for you? As a Center for Health and Sports Medicine patient, you'll receive medical care in a collaborative, proactive, goal-oriented manner. In other words, everything they do is centered around you. Learn more at jacksfamilysportsmed.com.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Austin Lane from Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Smart speakers are becoming part of everyday life, so why not use it to listen to the radio? Tell Alexa, Google Home, or any other speaker to play ESPN 690. Give it a shot weekday afternoons from 3 to 6.
Just like I told the team yesterday, sometimes you have to go through things to be able to get through things. And we needed to see a game ending on the last play where we were able to find success. And the thing that I really, looking back at it, the thing that I appreciated was it took all 3 phases. Defense getting a stop there in a 2-minute late. Offense having a minute to have to go down the field to put us in a position, and then we had to go execute a field goal on the last play to be able to win it.
That is Mike Norvell, and a big win for Florida State last week. Can they do it again? This time at UNC. And on the road, Brent Martineau here at String Sports Brewery, Austin Lane, back to the Action Sports Shack Studios. Casey Kurtz as well. We talked some college football yesterday, and Florida State, I think that was just a massive win for Norvell. I think a little bit of it, he was barking loud at the podium the week prior, and then he gets that kind of performance, and they held on. They didn't falter down the stretch. They did falter, but they didn't fold, and they get the win and finally a kick that goes through. It has to do wonders for Florida State. Listen, this isn't going to be this crazy good year under Mike Norvell, but every win seems to have a lot more meaning for Mike Norvell. And quite frankly, Austin, I wasn't sure when they were going to get one.
Yeah, because, they kind of have a murderer's row coming up here pretty soon. So it was good to get that win against Syracuse, especially at home in front of your fans. I'm not sure. Casey, you know what the stadium was talking about in terms of the attendance? We're talking half, 3/4, full.
It was not full.
Not full.
From TV viewing, I can get the exact number, but you know what? It is Syracuse. Keep in mind, but
Yeah.
it was definitely not a Notre Dame crowd that they had earlier in the season.
At the end of the day, a win's a win. And you take what you can get right now, and Florida State needed a win. They got it. So.
And the crazy thing is the ACC is like what is going on there, right? So UNC is not who we thought they were. They bounced back last week. Obviously, I don't even know what the spread. What's the spread, Casey? UNC favored by a couple touchdowns.
Oh, I know what the spread is. It is more than a couple touchdowns.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. But the number, if you're curious, early is 17.5.
Woof. How about that?
Yeah.
All right, let's hit it, Casey. Let's go with the Florida State report, brought to you by Bono's and Willie Jewell's Old School Barbecue.
So, yeah, as we mentioned, obviously FSU gets a big win in front of 56,609 people, Austin Lane. That's about 71% of their capacity.
Thank you very much.
So it's pretty full. Not too bad. But it was a 33-30 win over Syracuse, a walk-off kick by Ryan Fitzgerald. Shout out to him. Obviously, they lost to Notre Dame. I wouldn't say due to him missing a kick, but he did miss a kick that would have continued that game. So good for him to bounce back. FSU was up as much as 10 in this game. That was in the third quarter. Obviously, they win by 3, but it is what it is. You get a win. They did what they had to do with Sean Tucker, who is Syracuse's freshman running back, who has been incredible. They held him to 102 yards on 24 carries and 0 touchdowns. However, they were keyed in on that, and Garrett Schrader, quarterback for Syracuse, ran for 137 yards and 3 touchdowns. So, you know, give them the benefit of the doubt. They were ready for Tucker. They weren't ready necessarily for Schrader, but all's well that ends well. They did stop the pass, not really as expected, but we didn't expect Syracuse to throw it that much. They only passed for 150 yards in the air, but again, that is not their game. First game all season, Jermaine Johnson did not have a sack. I believe I said that the other day. They only had 1 sack overall. That was Fabian Lovett, who is another transfer. Their whole entire defensive line is just built on transfers. So, I mean, it's good for now. I don't know how good that is next year when these guys are gone, but it is what it is. The story was obviously Jordan Travis, who passed for 131 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. 131 yards is not a huge number. I get that. But he did what they asked him to do, throw screens, throw short passes. He was extremely effective on the ground. He ran for 113 yards on 19 carries. The running backs in general, which have to get going for FSU to win, Ja'Shawn Corbin carried it 14 times for 65 yards and a touchdown. Only 2 carries for Trayshawn Ward. I'm not exactly sure why, but those 2 carries went for 66 yards. So maybe give him the ball a little more if you're running for 33 a clip. Yeah. So that is what it is there. But at the end of the day, they won the game, and that is what's important. And now they look forward to North Carolina, who is 3-2 on the season, and that is very disappointing for them. They lost week 1, obviously, to Virginia Tech 17-10, and then they lose to Georgia Tech in what is a surprising turn of events. They lost that game at home 45-22. Shout out to Jeff Sims, though, by the way. Tore him up on the ground and in the air for Georgia Tech. And Brent Martineau, did you or did you not have North Carolina in the Final Four?
I did.
Yeah.
Is there still a chance?
You know, maybe that win over Florida State will push it over.
In what universe are we talking? Okay.
But it seems a bit unlikely for you there, Brent, but that is what it is. They have allowed 143.3 yards on the ground per game this season. FSU has to run the football, and they have to control the clock. That's pretty much your only opportunity because although they have lost 2 games, North Carolina still scores 37 points a game. FSU gives up 31. Sam Howell is obviously the story for North Carolina. He has struggled without all the weapons that he lost last year. However, they throw the ball, which is going to be an issue for the FSU secondary, and the main weapon for Howell this year has been Josh Downs. He has 40 catches for 620 yards and 6 touchdowns. So that's going to be Mike Norvell's number one thing to stop this week, and here's Norvell talking about Downs earlier this week.
I mean, you know, they do a great job with them and the opportunities that they create for them, but also, you know, with a run pass option, you know, they are a football team that you have to go into it to stop the run. You know, you have to have that plan because, you know, they've got explosive backs. You know, they've got, you know, a really good scheme that challenges you, you know, in both phases, but they create the one-on-one matchup in a lot of different ways. And Downs is he's a challenge. I mean, great route runner, explosive player. You know, he had a play last week as caught a you know, intermediate route, and you know, 60 yards later he's in the end zone. I mean, he has that game-changing ability. You know, very explosive in all aspects of what he does. I mean, they're going to find a way to get the ball in his hands, and we have to have 11 hats tracking him because, you know, his ability to make guys miss and you know, his speed and explosiveness definitely show up.
So obviously they will be focused on that. By the way, I don't know why. It is always raining after FSU practice. This man has not done a press conference yet that it was not raining in the background. So I don't know what the deal is with that, but it is always raining in Tallahassee, apparently. If you're in Tallahassee and listening, please let us know if it rains every day. So here's the deal with this game specifically. Mike Norvell has only won 4 games as the head coach of FSU. However, his biggest win was over number 5 North Carolina last season, 31-28 in North Carolina. Or I'm sorry, at home.
Yeah, that was at home, yeah.
Yeah, that was his biggest win thus far. So
I don't think Norvell has a road win yet.
I believe you would be correct as well. But hey, it is what it is.
First time for everything.
We're not poking fun at him at this point, but still, you've won over North Carolina, a better North Carolina team from last year that was number 5 in the nation when you beat them. How they did it last year, just as I talked about earlier, Jordan Travis, he ran for 107. LaDamian Webb, who is now at Troy, ran for 109 for FSU in that game. So that's what you got to do. You got to run the ball, you got to control the clock, and you got to control Sam Howell if you can. Brent, you mentioned the spread. I told you it is 17.5. I understand that it's FSU. FSU has to be the most confusing team to bet right now.
Yeah.
If you're going to do it. 17.5, to me, seems like a lot of points. I know they give up a lot of points, and it could get ugly very fast, but if you run the ball and control the clock, 17.5 seems like too many points to be giving if you're North Carolina. Depending on where you bet this game, if you're interested in the money line situation, you can get it for as good as plus 605, which is something if they could pull out just a straight-up win the football game. The over-under is 64.5, which seems fair because of all the points North Carolina scores. The question will be, can FSU keep up? Yet to be seen. But that game is on ESPN 690. The kick is at 3:30. Coverage will start at 1:30. And that's the FSU Report, sponsored by Bono's Pit Barbecue and Willie Jewell's Old School Barbecue.
Yeah, well done as always, Casey. What's interesting about Florida State is they did get blown out, I would say, by Wake Forest, who, by the way, is undefeated. It's a Wake Forest team that is undefeated. I'm not sitting here trying to say they're really, 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 really good, but they got blown out by an undefeated Wake Forest team. And a Wake Forest team, I think, a couple weeks ago that just beat North Carolina. But their other games have been close. So to bring up your 17.5-point spread, I mean, Florida State has been close. A touchdown away from Louisville. They obviously lost on the last play against Jacksonville State, which is and a field goal that they had a chance to tie the game and force another OT against Notre Dame. So they have played pretty tough, even though they are very flawed. And just to remind folks, too, and sometimes you have to do this, this is a Florida – Mike Norvell, he has to really pull these guys. We talk about the mud around here, Austin. I mean, when you're trying to flip it after 19 losses in a row, well, Mike Norvell's trying to do that from the Willie Taggart era, the late Jimbo Fisher era, and whatever else kind of he's, got himself into it last year and into this year. But they are 1-4 overall. The ACC we know is not good. Mm-hmm. Wake Forest is 5-0. NC State's 4-1. Clemson, Louisville 3-2. Boston College is 4-1. Like, they're winning games. Syracuse is 3-2. Pitt's 4-1. Virginia Tech's 3-1. North Carolina, Virginia 3-2. Georgia Tech 2-3. Duke 3-2. Even Miami feels like they stink. They're 2-3. The least amount of wins in the ACC is Florida State. I mean, that should never happen, man. I mean, how did it get like this is a reminder of when you look at the standings.
Casey, regarding this game this Saturday against North Carolina, the only question I have for you is how versed is North Carolina in stopping the run? I'm saying, is their defensive line suitable to stop Florida State in the trenches, or could it be a game where Florida State can control? Because to me, that's going to be the deciding factor.
I did not put the number down, which I should have, but they are not incredible. I mean, it's over 100 yards on the ground every game. So it is doable for Florida State in this situation. Because obviously the Florida State offensive line has been questionable.
Sure.
So you need to come out and perform. But this is not – North Carolina is not a team that is going to make you throw the ball. You can run the football if you so choose.
That to me, if we talk about an upset here, that's the only way you can do it is, like you said, control the clock and be able to run the football, because you do not want to get into a track meet with Sam Howell and that North Carolina team. So, I was wondering that one.
But here's what's interesting about that, Austin. I understand what you're saying from a win-loss perspective, but what I have said about Mike Norvell over the last couple of years, he's an offensive guy. They used to score 40-plus at Memphis. I want to see a guy that knows how to score points and his system working and what he's doing on offense, no matter if he has the Jimmies and Joes. And so I actually think, I think scoring 30-plus points, and even if they lose, they're not very good. We understand that. But at least getting to 30, the 35-14 against Wake Forest, you don't want to be in. 41-38 to Notre Dame, that tells me something. That means you're scoring points. I think that's critical. 33 points last week, that's good. Norvell is an offensive guy. Offensive guys should be able to score points with almost, it doesn't matter who they have. Yeah, they have deficiencies, but in this day and age in football, they should be able to score. And so there's not going to be a lot of wins. And so I think the silver lining in here is if they do score. So if this is a shootout and they end up putting up 35-plus against UNC, at least I can see Norvell's stuff is he knows what he's doing on that side of the ball, and he still has a lot of work to be done. But I like that at least as an underlining story throughout this year if they can continue to score.
I hear you. I just think at the same time, though, what does it say about your offense where we're telling you got to run the football? Just run the football every single time. Like that's what you do better. Now, you can have an explosive offense with a running game. I get that. But I don't think Mike Norvell and that offense is there yet. So, like, when we pray for Jordan Travis to come in because he gives you the best chance to win, well, it's not because of Jordan Travis's arm. It's because of his ability to run the football. So, when you run the football, it can take time off the clock. It can slow the game down. And that's kind of a testament right now of where this offense is at with Mike Norvell.
Hey, real quick, I got a question for you guys. There's no clear-cut best quarterback in the country, right? We all agree on that?
Yes.
Yeah.
If you could take a quarterback the rest of the year, from here on out, the rest of the season, to be the best quarterback in the country, who would it be? Because Sam Howell's disappointed. Spencer Rattler's disappointed. You had Matt Corral and then nothing last week. Bryce Young has done some good things, but he hasn't been consistently like, wow, right? The kid from Ohio State hasn't been that good. Who do you have if you could take one?
So I know this is not what you were looking for. I'm just going to start with that. So if you want to make fun of me, that is fine. But I'm taking Malik Willis from Liberty.
Oh, come on, Casey.
Really? Really?
Yeah, it's the Trey Lance effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their schedule is not tough. I don't think he's turned over the ball yet still.
That's a little bit of a cop-out.
Yeah, I knew you'd say that. But he's literally going to be in contention for the Heisman if he keeps putting up these numbers.
And he should be. He should be. But, he also doesn't play anybody.
Yeah, well.
So, I get it. The kid's a good player.
Neither did Josh Allen. Neither did Trey Lance.
That's fine. Are you taking him too, Austin?
That was the guy who I was thinking of because
Was it
consistently,
really?
yeah, for sure. Because consistently right now, that's the guy that is producing.
Maybe. Hey, listen. Maybe then you answered the question, because if you got to go there, then you tell the story of everybody else. You don't have confidence in everybody else, and that's pretty well. See, I would answer this question and keep my national championship hopes alive with a guy like Rattler. Did he turn the corner last week? And after a rough start, are they going to start to get in a groove? They really haven't played well. And so I think I would buy the stock low right now on Rattler and that Oklahoma offense to really hit another notch going down the road. I think I would buy Rattler right now. I think he's through the bad part of his season and plays better. Now we'll find out. Got the showdown this week.
To play in your game, Brent, I think you can't take Bryce Young. I don't think anybody's taking JT Daniels. So to play in a game you actually wanted me to play, Desmond Ritter from Cincinnati.
That's a good one. Now that's a good one. Yeah, very good.
But I just don't think I think it says something that the two best teams in the country, neither of us immediately said Bryce Young or JT Daniels.
Yeah, I agree with that. And Young would be probably a bad bet.
To me, Young's up there though.
He's up there. I think he is. I think people would take Young. Here's why I thought about JT Daniels, because I think their defense is going to put them in such good shape. He won't have to do that much, and so he could look really good in some of these easy games, and then he just has to do an adequate job in the other games. So I think he's not a bad play. But the problem with JT right now is he healthy? Where's he? Is he going to be healthy? He takes one more hit, will even last a year. So I think that's a concern. By the way, Astros just scored to go up 1-0 over the White Sox early in that game. We got some afternoon baseball. We're going to take a break. Action Sports Shacks on ESPN 690. We're live from String Sports Brewery. More to come, including football at 5. Brent buys a beer. Who's it going to be for? That'll be coming up in just a bit on ESPN 690.
Greenberg is Greeny.
Did anyone watch football last year and think, you know what, I think there's just too much taunting going on? These guys seem to be too excited when they make big plays, and every now and again, it seems to be in the face of their opponent. This does not have any impact on the competition of the game until you choose to make it so. And what I'm suggesting is don't choose that. Don't choose that.
Greeny with Mike Greenberg. Weekday mornings at 10 Eastern on ESPN Radio. And watch exclusively on ESPN Plus.
I love football and I love chicken wings. Hey, everybody, this is Brent Mortno. We are a lot alike, right? You love football and you love wings. Let's win the week with Extreme Wings Sports Grill. 4 locations in Jacksonville, Atlantic Boulevard, Ocean Way, 210 in St. Johns County, and the new location on Roosevelt Boulevard near NAS Jax, serving up the freshest, never frozen, world-famous extreme hot wings to Jacksonville since 1999. We like football. We like wings. We love a good deal. To celebrate the grand opening of the Extreme Wings Roosevelt location, get 6 wings, french fries, and a drink for just $12.99 at the Roosevelt location. 6 wings, french fries, and a drink, just $12.99. Active military gets special discounts. Jalapeno ranch, Caribbean jerk, spicy blue cheese, lemon pepper. So many flavors to choose from. And, of course, they can make them extreme if you want. Plenty of space at Extreme Wings Sports Grill locations. If you're looking for a place for the entire team, try Extreme Wings Sports Grill. I love it. You'll love it. 4 locations in Jacksonville, including Roosevelt Boulevard near NAS Jax.
See, boss, look at all these great masks, and they got them marked down for their after Halloween sale. These make great disguises for breaking into houses.
Oh, yeah. It's perfectly normal for a big guy in a Spider-Man mask to be lurking around the neighborhood.
I wouldn't be lurking.
Whatever. Just make sure you don't go near any safe-touch houses. Those things aren't safe for us crooks.
Hey, before I forget, that house we've been casing, when are those folks going out of town again?
Black Friday. And since they don't have safe-touch security, we don't have to worry.
Yeah, no safe-touch means no two-way communicator or crash and smash technology, no video monitoring.
And no headaches for me.
Here, look. What do you think of my new mask?
It's definitely an improvement.
Thanks.
You find another house without safe-touch and the mask is on me.
Consider it done.
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
Koala Insulation.
Hey, I'm Carrie.
And I'm Bruce. We're the owners of Koala Insulation. As the heat of the summer drags on, stop wondering if you have an insulation problem and call us for a free evaluation. We don't quote over the phone or just poke our heads up in your attic. We do a full evaluation to include attic ventilation needs as well as insulation.
Give us a call at 904-679-6282 or online at koalainsulation.com.
Running a small business means just that, always running.
Woo, you're not kidding.
Which is why this holiday, while the other guys, not mentioning any names, are kicking it back, we'll be kicking it into gear by leaving our doors open for you. So whatever the ing you need this holiday, whether it's packing, shipping, or mailboxing, we'll be right here waiting.
Now that's an ing worth celebrating.
The UPS Store, every ing for small business, all in one place.
The UPS Store.
The UPS Store locations are independently owned. Product services, pricing, and hours may vary. See Center for details.
5G is here, but the big carriers want you to sign a pricey long-term contract to get in on the action. Well, no more, because Straight Talk Wireless has rolled out 5G coverage nationwide, with plans starting at just $35 a month with no contract. And get a Samsung Galaxy A32 5G for only $299, all on America's best networks. 5G coverage, 5G phones, less money. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. 5G capable device required, actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
In college football, Goodyear knows a new season means new possibilities, where every Saturday is an opportunity on the road to greatness. No matter if you're out there playing your hardest or cheering the loudest from the sidelines, tailgating in the parking lot, or your favorite spot to watch the game, Goodyear knows passion is what drives us forward all the way to the playoffs. That's the road that moves us. Goodyear, more driven.
Quitting tobacco isn't easy. The good news is, Tobacco-Free Florida is here to help you quit your way by offering the free support and tools you'll need to succeed. Our AHEC cessation program offers Group Quit, virtual classes you can take from the comfort of your own home across every county in Florida. All you need is a phone, tablet, or computer. You may also be eligible to receive up to $400 worth of free quit aids, such as nicotine patches, lozenges, or gum. You aren't alone, and our group quit sessions can offer the support you've needed all along. It doesn't matter how many times you've tried to quit, now is your time to succeed, because now is the time to quit your way. So give us a call at 1-877-YOU-CAN-NOW to double your chances of success. Ask about free nicotine replacement options to help you quit today. This is your start to a tobacco-free life. No judgments, just help.
Listen to ESPN 690 anytime, anywhere, on any device. Whether you're at home or on the go, get the latest on the Jags, FSU, the Jumbo Shrimp, and Action Sports Jacks on Odyssey.com. That's AUDACY.com or on ESPN690.com.
But the plan, it was the guys executed it well first half. They did a great job. They did a great job. We always want to start the game with a kill, and a kill is 3 drives in a row without a score, not necessarily 3 and outs, but without a score. We had 4. Usually in those situations you win the game, and our offense was rolling, doing a great job. But we got to play 4 full quarters.
Yeah, finish will be the key, right? Every football team talks about it, especially those that don't win. Jaguars have really struggled in the third quarter coming out of the gates. I mean, they got to be better there. So Jags have to find a recipe to win. We only have a couple minutes here, and let's make sure we highlight weekly, as we do, our committed to the uncommitted. This is a segment we do on the Blitz Scoreboard Show, really having fun with it. It's been very cool to highlight some of the kids that have been overlooked in the recruiting game. And our latest installment last Friday night was Dylan Stubbs, linebacker, Oakleaf High School, committed to the uncommitted, presented by Baker Sports, and Dylan Stubbs is this week's committed to the uncommitted. This is a guy that's going to be able to play that nickel, that star position, they say, the linebacker position. He will play at the next level, and hard-nosed. Frank Garris talked all about him from Oakleaf last week on the show. Don't forget to join the Blitz Scoreboard Show tomorrow night, 9 p.m., until 10 p.m. Usually we'll go until 10:30. I think tomorrow night we cut it a little bit short, but usually 9 p.m. until 10:30, then right into the Friday Night Blitz on TV on Fox 30 and 11:20 on CBS 47 and Fox 30. But it's a new show over the last couple of years. If you like high school football, we really have a blast. Kevin Sullivan's a part of it, and we think you'll like it. We show you live games coming in from around the area and the finishes, and then have coaches call in reaction, scores, and analysis from our Hall of Fame coach, Kevin Sullivan. Committed to the uncommitted, Dylan Stubbs, and he'll be here tonight, by the way. Will he be here tonight? No, he won't be here tonight. We'll have some of our players of the week that will be here tonight. Sorry, at Jaguars All Access. Hey, I have so much going on, I can't remember which high school kids are coming over. We have a coach of the week and a player of the week that will come by now, Jaguars All Access here on Thursdays, and that's on the TV side of things. But committed to the uncommitted, Dylan Stubbs, linebacker, Oakleaf High School, presented by Baker Sports. Baker Sports, homegrown and ready to help the home team look good on Friday nights and every night in any sport. Baker Sports has been doing that since 1997. Your team experts offer the top brands like Under Armour and Adidas, screen print, embroidery, and trophies, all done in-house right here in Jacksonville. Baker Sports, get you ready for your big game. Looking good so you can play good. Play ball with your team experts at Baker Sports. Baker Sports are the best. We appreciate all they did for our Dream 18 golf tournament as well. I'll give you a little advice. If you're doing a golf tournament or an event, we did this where we opened a store online. Casey, did you make your order?
You bet.
Yeah, see that? You could order from several items for our Dream 18 golf tournament. Everybody that was registered for the golf tournament got to pick their item and size, and whether it was a polo shirt, a T-shirt, or a sweatshirt, or a quarter zip. And that was the way to go. So that's just a helpful hint. If you're putting on a golf tournament, give Baker Sports a call. They might be able to help you out in that regard. It really worked for our Dream 18 this year, and we'll probably do it again in 2022. Football at 5 coming up. String Sports Brewery, Brent Martin, Austin Lane, Casey Kurtz. Let's get back some football, Jaguars, and around the NFL. And we have to make our wagers for Thursday Night Football, which is a fantastic game, at least on paper. We'll be right back.
The American Freedom Tour is coming to Jacksonville. I'm Dean Black, chairman of the Republican Party of Duval County, and it's time for Republicans to get motivated and defend freedom. 2 historic days, Friday and Saturday, October 8th and 9th. Come see Donald Trump Jr., Kayleigh McEnany, Dan Bongino, Dinesh D'Souza, and many, many more. Get your tickets now at DuvalGOP.com. I will see you there. Care.
Are you a recent high school graduate who hasn't made up their mind about what they want to do for their career? Or possibly you're already working, but you're stuck in a dead-end job? If so, then I'm here to tell you about J-Tech. J-Tech is a local school that offers hands-on essential career training. Have you heard about the massive increase in online ordering since the pandemic started? That means that more people are needed who can service diesel trucks. Diesel technology is an important part of the transportation industry, and qualified diesel technicians play a huge role in keeping that industry moving. At J-Tech, they're helping to meet the demand for skilled diesel technicians by offering a 91 credit hour ASE-based diesel technology program. This program is going to help you give you the hands-on skills and confidence needed to launch a successful career in diesel technology. To learn more about J-Tech, visit jtech.org or call them at 904-483-9460. Ask for Hank to set up an appointment to tour the campus or get your questions answered. That's 904-483-9460 or visit jtech.org.
Whether you're a rock-solid hard athlete or a hardcore fan, in Little League, a pro, or a weekend warrior, Cora Physical Therapy is here to help you reach your goals. We're happy to announce that Cora is now open in Kingsland on Boone at Haddock, and we're coming soon to Brunswick. With a total of 17 clinics in the Jacksonville region, there's sure to be one near your home or work. Call or come in today for a free screening. No physician's referral needed. CoraPhysicalTherapy.com. Treating everyone right.
Want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Owen. I'm a cigarette.
Do you like being a cigarette?
No, I don't. Not really into killing thousands of people. Sorry, no filter.
Right.
What's your sign?
Pisces?
I'm a Cancer. Cigarette joke. But seriously, I do cause cancer. And heart disease. And strokes. I could go on forever. Unlike the people who smoke me.
The average smoker lives 10 years less than non-smokers. Quit today. Find out how at tobaccofreeflorida.com.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
ESPN Radio Sports Beat. I'm Jason Fitz.
This is Sports Center.
I'm Steve Lennox. Game 1 AL Division Series in Houston. Third inning, Astros on the board first and up 1-0 on the White Sox. Jake Myers came through. 2-out RBI single for Myers. That came in the bottom of the second. Lance McCullers Jr. on the mound for the Astros. He is not allowed to hit over the first 3 innings. Game right now available on other ESPN radio affiliates. Red Sox Rays tonight, game 1 of their ALDS from St. Pete, Florida. J.D. Martinez on the roster for the Red Sox. Manager Alex Cora did say today that Martinez will not be in the starting lineup for game 1. He is available, though, as a pinch hitter. Boston hopeful to have Martinez in the starting lineup for game 2. That, according to Cora. Seattle Seahawks open up at home tonight and open up week 5 against the LA Rams. Alan Hahn earlier today on Barton Hahn with an observation on the Seahawks.
I think the Seahawks have a lot more at stake here because I'm starting to wonder if they are that team, right? We knew this was going to be a really good division, and some of us before the season were looking at the Cardinals as, you guys aren't really in that class yet.
That's Alan Hahn earlier today on Barton Hahn.
We're back on Friday reacting to a huge divisional game to kick off week 5 in the NFL. We'll tell you if the Rams bounce back or fall further behind the Cardinals in the NFC West. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, Friday morning on ESPN Radio.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios.
This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
But again, I'll go back to the Arizona game as well. They're a good team. They're going to make some plays, but there was a couple, and I said it last week, there's usually 3 to 5 plays, and you don't know when they're coming, where you have a breakdown. That's learning and communicating, making sure we know who's covering who, or making sure the rush is getting there. It takes all 11, and that's what we got to do a better job of. When you do it for a half, you'd like to get it to 3 quarters and then finish it this week with 4 quarters, and that's what we're excited.
That's Joe Cullen, Jaguars defensive coordinator. You know, there are signs of all the mess in Jacksonville the last week. there really are signs of some pretty good coaching going on. I mean, there's signs of not great coaching at times. The opening game and then the second half the other day, I think, presents some of that. I think the first couple of weeks on offense looked out of touch with what they wanted to be and do. But I do feel like there's some signs of good coaching, too. And I think that's kind of in front of us. I think there's poor play sometimes by players, and I think there's good play by some players. But if we always seem to criticize coaching. The Jags are not that loaded up with talent, so they have to coach it up. And if we're going to criticize, which they've earned some criticism, I think you also have to praise in some areas that there are at least some signs of it. Can they continue that? And that's going to be the difference this week and maybe even amidst everything else, but also going forward is how many more steps can they take? Like how much better can they take? Are they repeating their mistakes? That is going to be something to watch. I want to get your thoughts on that in a moment, Austin. I do want to give you an update, by the way, on Furyk and Friends, the Constellation Furyk and Friends, presented by Circle K. That golf tournament we were at Timuquana Country Club yesterday. There's some rain in the forecast tomorrow, and so they feel like it's mostly going to come later in the day. And for those reasons, they have changed some of the scheduling around of the event tomorrow, and a lot of it has to do with parking lots and shuttles. Begins at 7:30. The water taxi, which we're all looking forward to, will be canceled on Friday. It will still be open on Saturday and Sunday. That's the plan. But it will be canceled tomorrow. So no water taxi going across the St. Johns River and ending up at Timuquana tomorrow. More information on the parking lots can be found on the tournament website, constellationfurykandfriends.com. Gates open at 8 o'clock. Opening tee times begin at 8 o'clock. So they've moved things around a little bit. The broadcast times will remain the same from 3 to 5. It's a 54-hole event. And maybe the most disappointing part, because they had to move things around, Jack Nicklaus was set to give the opening tee shot of the event, and he no longer will do that. So part of the festivities canceled in that regard tomorrow for Furyk and Friends. But it should be a fantastic event over Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Beautiful golf course. Big-name players, Phil Mickelson, John Daly, Jim Furyk, Steve Stricker, you name it. There's even more. Go out and see your favorite golfer from yesteryear still playing and playing at a high level over at Timuquana Country Club. Brent Martin at String Sports Brewery, Austin Lane, Casey Kurtz in the Action Sports Jack Studios. Do you agree with that assessment of mine on the Jags? Has there been some pretty good coaching along the way, Austin?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's been some good coaching. You know, obviously there's been some questionable coaching as well. I mean, anytime that you're 0-4 right now, obviously the coaching isn't probably where it should be. And it's simple as that. Now, a lot of it falls on the players as well, but the record speaks for itself. So overall, I mean, from the defensive side of things, I look at what the goal was to be day one, and that was to stop the run. They have been doing that so far. Now, obviously, in the back end, things probably have to change a little bit in terms of communication and not giving up the big plays, but I have seen progress there. You have a guy in Derrick Henry who's probably going to get the rock a lot. If you shut him down, that's going to be a next step in terms of where you want to be on defense. So on the defensive side of things, absolutely. I think on the offensive side of things, you have a team that was trying to find their identity the first couple weeks, right? And we are very critical of not giving James Robinson the ball more, even Carlos Hyde the ball more. Anytime you put it in your rookie quarterback's hands 40 times like it was in Houston, probably not going to be a good look. So I think this offense is still trying to figure out who they are. You lose DJ Chark now, you lose A.J. Cann, so that's two major losses right there. But I think it's a work in progress in terms of the offense.
Yeah, and just to hit on that a little bit more, the offense, in my opinion, I feel like Bevel and Lawrence are a little bit more in sync over these last 2 weeks. The identity of what they want to do, how they want to frame it, setting the young quarterback up for success and some growth on a week-to-week basis. I feel like that has been very evident, and I have given Bevel credit for that. We also hammered him a little bit early on for 51 throws and not giving the ball to James Robinson, and I think he earned that. So can that continue? And really it's the most important part of it, it feels like to me. Can the growth of Trevor Lawrence continue, and can they start scoring at not will, but at a better pace? Because they're going to have to if they want to win football games. The defense overall just isn't that good. It's the weaker spot, in my opinion, of this team. Now, that might be changing as well because of the injuries. DJ Chark's a big blow. You already lost Travis Etienne. This offense on paper isn't anything what we thought it would be as you entered August 1st, let's say. But the offensive line continues to play well. They do have some depth on the offensive line. to try to continue the progress that they've made. And Ben Barch, I don't know how closely you've watched Barch, but he doesn't seem to be an eyesore to me, Austin.
No, he's not an eyesore. Yeah, Trevor Lawrence is getting better, absolutely. But at the end of the day, this is the NFL, and this is an offensive-driven league. And if you're scoring 21 points, 19 points, 13 points, 21 points a game, that's not going to get you a lot of wins.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the defense can play better, get you the ball back, all this stuff. But at the end of the day, 21 points a game is not going to get you a lot of ball games. So that number has to increase. Whether that's with the help of Trevor Lawrence, whether that's with the help of running the football, with the play calling, whatever the case may be, the main focus right now on offense should be getting in the end zone more.
It's interesting you bring that up. I was thinking last year, right? They started off 30 points and 30 points, I think it was, against Indy and Tennessee, if I'm not mistaken. They went 1-1. And then that was like it, right? And everyone's like, well, they don't know, they don't have a tape on it. And people said they played well because until they got tape. And then once they got tape on Minshew and the offense and what it was going to be, boom, wasn't very good. Okay, maybe that was it. There were a bunch of reasons. They had injuries and quarterbacks and everything derailed, and they weren't very good. You maybe wonder, Austin, if it's a little bit different this year as we see this growth, that maybe the Jags offense can get to a point where it is 27 to 34 points, in the next few weeks and as we go along. And you're probably not going to do it every game. You probably have a poor game here or there, but maybe that becomes the norm. We get a flip of that, and that would be so important for this team. I think, especially because it would show a sign of Trevor doing more and putting more on his shoulders. It would show probably the commitment to the run game and James Robinson being as legit as we think he is. But it would also be doing it without some key components like Chark, like ETN. And right now, I told the folks this morning, problem with the Jags offense right now is they still lack a dynamic playmaker. And ETN was supposed to be that. Chark was supposed to be better than he was in the first month. Shenault is dynamic in a sense. But when I say dynamic playmaker, I'm still talking about the guy that you're going to throw it to at the 22 and he's going to take it the distance. They don't have that threat. The 50-yard play to Shenault the other day, which was kind of off schedule and a heck of a throw and a heck of an adjustment on the receiver's part, you're not going to see many of those, right? I mean, I don't think that's this offense. We're not going to get a lot of that throughout this season just because I don't know if they have the personnel to allow for that.
No, for sure. I mean, I get that. At the same time, I look at a team like Buffalo, who, in terms of a dynamic playmaker, I mean, yeah, Stephon Diggs has been that guy in the past. Now he's regressed this year a little bit. They aren't getting him the ball as much, but it's a meat and potatoes kind of offense with Zach Moss, with Josh Allen, with Dawson Knox, and you sprinkle on, obviously, Diggs every once in a while. To me, it's all about getting your guys an opportunity to succeed. Okay, like I consider Buffalo a pretty explosive offense. Right now, they're number 3 in the NFL in terms of points per game. They aren't the sexiest team by any means, but I think they have a hell of a play caller. I think when we look at, I'm trying to go down the list here a little bit. I mean, Baltimore, that's not fair because you have Lamar Jackson, so that doesn't really count. But even a team like, I don't know, like Seattle, I guess you have Russell Wilson, so that helps. Okay, Washington. Washington's a good example here. So Washington, they have Terry McLaurin. All right, got it. They have a backup quarterback right now in Taylor Heineke. They have a pretty good running back, obviously, with Gibson. But, like, they aren't necessarily the sexiest team out there, but they find a way to put up points, almost 25.2 a game.
Yeah.
And in the last 3 games, 28 points a game averaging. It's setting your team up for success. It's putting the ball in the hands of the guys that are going to shine. Now, James Robinson, obviously, for this team, is one of those guys. Do you incorporate him more in the pass game? Do you make defenses respect him a little more? I mean, you and I have made the comment in the past, he does look better in terms of catching the ball. He looks quicker. He looks sleeker. I mean, do you involve him more in the pass game? I just think, like, it's – and I understand. On paper – it's not the best-looking offense right now. But to me, that's not an excuse because you can always game plan, you can always scheme up to put guys in positions to succeed.
Yeah, and by the way, again, I'll go back to it because this is what we know that worked. In 2017, on paper, the Jags were just okay. They had the 6th best offense in the NFL that year. So to your point, if you do it right, you can do it. And you don't have to have Pro Bowlers all over the place. That'd be nice. It'd be nice to have some of the weapons KC has. Makes it a little bit of easier. And we're not saying Jags should be on that level or the Cardinals level or maybe some others, but you can still be super efficient and effective on the offense, even with some of the injuries. So that's why I'm hoping this is growing toward that. And by the way, if we do go back to 17, it grew toward that. Like, it wasn't like November, December was way better than, I think, September, October, if I remember correctly, back in 17. They kind of found a groove. Maybe that's where this offense is headed. Speaking of the offense, I don't remember a player that surprised me performance-wise and what it would look like. And by the way, it wasn't like this unbelievable performance, but in the few touches, like Dan Arnold. Arnold comes over from Carolina in that trade for C.J. Henderson, and I'm telling you, Austin, when we talked about this a little bit, but when he touched the football, it was like somebody hit the old X button on whatever game system you want to play. I don't even know if it's the X button anymore. What was the button on the bottom? Was that X?
It depends what you're talking about.
Yeah.
PlayStation? Yeah, there you go. That was the X button.
All right. See, so like a little turbo speed or something.
Sure.
It's R2, but yeah.
Well, what is it? It's now R2? L2?
If we're playing Madden, it's R2.
Okay.
But if you want to put the button on the bottom, that's the X button.
I don't play him at all, but you get my point, right? I mean, it looked like he had a different speed. He's a good athlete. We know that. He's got a great vertical jump. He's a hurdle guy. I think he's like 39, 40-inch vertical jump. But it just looked – I was like, wow, I did not expect it to look like that just to the naked eye. And – he could really help this now. It's going to be a fun player to watch. I'm excited to see how they incorporate him on Sunday and going forward, because maybe this guy is a little bit of the missing link. Now, I'm not going to mistake him for Kelsey or Kittle or any of those guys, but he could be a little bit of a missing link for a young quarterback that could make this offense a shade more dynamic, if not, at the very least, more effective.
No, we'll see. I mean, obviously, he's the best tight end that you have right now, and he was literally in town like 4 or 5 days, and you threw him in there, and it was the best that we've seen. I mean, I'm going to temper expectations a little bit, though, just from the standpoint of I don't think the Bengals were really prepping for him. Yeah. I don't think that it was a really a job to take him away. And also,
had 2 catches.
Oh, I know. And I also remember, all the Tyron Johnson hype that we built up. Well, this guy's a speedster. He's gonna be fine in Urban, and we haven't really called his name a lot.
But he hasn't done anything
either. Yeah, and I mean, I was more excited than anybody to get that guy because 4-3, it's gonna be good. Well, haven't seen a lot of them.
No.
So
at least Arnold did something.
Yeah, true. So I'm gonna temper expectations a little bit, but if he can be just that safety valve in the middle. That's all you ask for. Because even though DJ Chark's gone now, even though some guys got to step in and fill up for him, this is still going to be, in my opinion, an attacking vertical offense. That's what Urban Meyer wants to do. That's been Urban Meyer's calling card ever since he was in Florida. You want to get vertical. And when you get vertical, you need the safety route underneath in the middle of the field. And if Dan Arnold can be that guy, and when I say be that guy, I mean be reliable, catch the ball, find that soft spot in the coverage, then by all means, he could have, his best season of all time. And it's only going to help out Trevor Lawrence as well. So I'm not sure how intricate Dan Arnold is going to be going forward. You think they're going to use him a little more, but all I need Dan Arnold to be right now is the safety valve in the middle to help out Trevor Lawrence, to help out this offense. And if that's the case, then you got something special there.
Yeah, and do you think he can be a threat in the red zone as well? The Jags have not had a lot of tight end threats down there in the red zone since Mercedes Lewis, and really that goes back to 2010, like that year of Mercedes Lewis. I know they had hoped for some with Julius Thomas, never transpired. Is this a guy now? He's not overly big, but I think does his speed work in the red zone as well, where it could give them another option? If you remember the other night, he drew a holding penalty that was critical at the time. I think it was on a 3rd down. That end up leading to an opportunity for the Jags.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely has speed, but when we talk about speed, it's not that conducive in the red zone when the field gets shorter, especially from the tight end position. It's more about, your quickness and more about just, using your body and making sure you can catch the ball. I think he can do that. I think he can definitely add a wrinkle, whether you want to put him in the slot or you want to put him on the line of scrimmage and, fake the James Robinson play action, whatever the case may be. I think you can do things with that guy. But once again, I mean, I don't expect him to go out there and be a Darren Waller, 12 targets a game.
No.
All I expect him to be is suitable in the running game and then able to bail out Trevor Lawrence when you need him in the middle.
All right, let me just ask you this. If you look up and do you want him 3 catches? Is 5 catches kind of where you'd like to see him as a tight end and definitely your best pass catcher? Is that utilizing the tight end the right way? I mean, 3 is kind of like, yeah, whatever, but 5 is, hey, that's pretty good. Probably not going to see an 8 or 9 catch day out of him, but is what should be our expectation, I guess, is my point. If you're going to involve him in the game plan and you're going to try to utilize him, is a handful of catches a reasonable number for Dan Arnold?
Yeah, I mean, I would take 5 catches a game all day because, once again, you have a guy now who's coming in without DJ Chark. So DJ, Chark's targets, and I get it. It was different game by game, but you have to replace that now. So the ball has to go someplace else. And, I mean, do we know who's stepping up for DJ Chark now? Like, I mean, who's going to be like the 3rd receiver in? Agnew? Do we know what the plan's going to be?
Tavon Austin.
Tavon Austin?
Yeah, I think they'll go Tavon Austin mostly. I mean, Tyron Johnson could see more action. I think Agnew will get a few more reps, but it doesn't sound like he's going to be like this all of a sudden play 40 snaps on offense guy. So I think right now Tavon Austin is that guy, and I think Urban referenced Treadwell kind of waiting in the wings too if it doesn't work out with Austin. But I would go Tavon Austin right now, a little bit of Tyron Johnson. And then we'll see after that.
Okay. Well, regardless of what it's going to be like, with DJ
and more Chenault, by the way.
Well, no, for sure. And this is what I was going to get at. Since Chark is gone now, this is going to move Chark to the outside a lot more. I mean, we saw him line up in the slot a couple times and do that thing. Well, now he has to be on the outside because he's really the 2 receiver. You really have nobody else right now on this team that's been proven this year. So expect him to be on the outside more. So once again, if that is the case, and we'll see how it all pans out. I assume Tavon Austin would be more in the slot, more in the middle, but we'll see how they draw this whole thing up. But if that is the case, what I think is going to happen, where Chenault goes on the outside more, well, now that leaves the middle of the field open. And you have to have something there that defenses are going to respect. Because if defenses just stack the outside box the entire time and they're not worried about the middle, well, then it could be a long day for Trevor Lawrence in terms of getting his receivers the ball. But if you do have a Dan Arnold or Laviska in the past, but now Laviska's on the outside, but if you have a guy in the middle that's going to take the safeties down a little bit, that's going to make the linebackers maybe stay home a little bit more, well, that makes things easier on the outside. And that's what this team needs right now with guys like Marvin Jones, with guys like Laviska Shenault coming on a little bit, and obviously with guys like Trevor Lawrence who need a confidence boost, who have to keep on building off of what they did this prior game.
Yeah, it's kind of like they need that middle level, second level kind of attack, and they really haven't had that. I mean, it's hard to find that here in Jacksonville over the years. Let's bring in Captain Rick right now, Florida Sportsman Fishing Report. How are the waters? I know you said the weather might be getting nasty for the fishermen out there. What's happening?
Yeah, we got a pretty strong easterly flow, Brent. It's keeping the ocean chopped up for the smaller boats. The big boats can make it, but the most of us, the weekend warriors, pretty well stuck at the dock while we deal with seas up to about 4 feet. We got some interesting situations going on inshore. The flounder have started to move, and they've started to bite. That's the good news. The bad news is we are now less than 10 days away from the season being shut down. There's a lot of heartburn over that. We've never had a closed season for flounder before, but as our numbers have diminished a little in the last few years, it's probably a good call. Captain David Voorhees had 10 nice flounder today, and a keeper red said the fish did not tail in the grass like we expected them to. The conditions were fine. For whatever reason, they just didn't get up there. Apparently, the fiddler crabs were not climbing up the grass stalks, and it's a really cool thing to see when the reds knock them off the grass and then eat them, but they were not there today. So we'll see what tomorrow, which is probably the last day of this real flood tide, is. We'll see if that happens or not. But one thing you can count on, we'll be back to check on it tomorrow afternoon with another fishing report brought to you by Workman's Quick Fix Plumbing and CSS Landscaping. Thank you, boys.
All right, thanks, Captain Rick. Appreciate it. Make sure you check out Rick's report each and every day here on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. And, of course, on Saturday morning, 7 a.m. until 9 a.m., catch guys on ESPN 690. Hey, Casey, we got some baseball tonight. We got the Red Sox and Rays tonight on ESPN 690?
We do not. We have Thursday Night Football instead.
Oh, we got Thursday Night Football, Westwood 1. Thanks for reminding me.
That is no problem.
We have We do have the Rams. We do have the Seahawks. Should be a good one on ESPN 690 coming up tonight, part of our Westwood One coverage. And make sure you stay tuned for that if you're in your car and want to listen to the game. By the way,
just go back in the driveway.
Or just go back in the driveway, edible arrangements await. I did that the other day. I was at Kaylee's softball game, by the way, last week, and it was the end of the FSU game, and we wanted to listen to the game. So I have the Relevant app, RELEVNT, downloaded, and bam, popped it up, playing live radio on ESPN 690. We heard the end of the game-winning kick right there for everybody. See how quick it is? See how easy it is? I got to watch a little softball, watch Kaylee play, and listen to the FSU game. That's what you can do on ESPN 690. Download the Relevant app. Join the discussion. You can use it as a podcast as well. RELEVNT is how you spell it. The Relevant app. Download it, and it's an easy way to listen to ESPN 690. Speaking of that Thursday night game, we're going to make our picks soon. That's on the way, as well as some more sports talk live from String Sports Brewery on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert Forecast on ESPN 690.
Dropping to near 70 tonight. Partly to mostly cloudy for your Friday. Some on and off showers and a few thunderstorms. Highs tomorrow in the low to mid 80s. From the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish. Join me today beginning at 5 p.m. on CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jax.
The Weather Meter is brought to you by Beards Diamonds. Don't miss Beards BOGO Wedding Band Sale October 8th through the 24th.
The American Freedom Tour is coming to Jacksonville. I'm Dean Black, chairman of the Republican Party of Duval County, and it's time for Republicans to get motivated and defend freedom. 2 historic days, Friday and Saturday, October 8th and 9th. Come see Donald Trump Jr., Kayleigh McEnany, Dan Bongino, Dinesh D'Souza, and many, many more. Get your tickets now at DuvalGOP.com. I will see you there.
Hey everyone, it's Brent Martineau. Meet Relevant, the new group messaging app that drives real-time, authentic conversations. You can now listen and live chat with us during our radio show directly on Relevant. It's a new fun way to interact with your favorite hosts and other listeners. It's easy. Just download the free Relevant app. That's RELEVNT. Simply search for the ESPN 690 community and join the chat. Listen in on the Relevant app for special polls, promotions, and giveaways. We'll see you there.
If you're anything like me, then cars were an important part of your childhood growing up. Literally, some of my very first memories involved helping my grandpa build old cars. If you're into cars, then you know that the technology is always evolving, which is why there's a demand for well-trained automotive technicians. As a student in the automotive technology program at JTech, you'll be learning basic automotive maintenance, diagnostic procedures, and effective repair methods while using testing equipment and specialized tools. The program also includes training on electrical, HVAC, engine performance, suspension, steering, brake systems, and transmission diagnosis and repair. Their shop settings are designed to represent the actual automotive environments that you will be experiencing when you get into the automotive industry. To learn more about JTech, visit jtech.org or call them at 904-483-9460. Ask for Hank to set up an appointment to tour the campus or get your questions answered. That's 904-483-9460 or visit jtech.org.
The Center for Health and Sports Medicine delivers an individualized 360-degree approach to your health, providing a whole-person approach to primary care and sports medicine. With primary care and sports medicine physicians, mental health counselors, the Sports Performance Lab, and 24/7 on-site state-of-the-art wellness center, all under one roof, they'll work to maximize your health by creating a foundational focus on physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional well-being. The MD VIP program provides even more benefits like appointment guarantees and after-hour care. Learn more at jacksfamilysportsmed.com.
Dave Pasch here from Westwood One with a preview of Thursday Night Football. Hall of Famer Rod Woodson and I will bring you NFC West action from Seattle when Russell Wilson and the Seahawks host Matthew Stafford and the Los Angeles Rams. For Sean McVay's Rams, they're looking to bounce back from their first loss of the season last week to the Cardinals.
Part of being able to do this the right way is being able to handle the ebbs and flows. You know, things aren't going to go perfectly. This is such a competitive league, and these are those opportunities to be able to show your mental toughness, the resilience that I know that exists in that locker room, and we're going to get ourselves up and be ready to compete on Thursday.
Pete Carroll's Seahawks will look to avenge last year's playoff loss to the Rams and pick up an important division win. Join us, the Rams at the Seahawks, on Thursday Night Football.
Get ready for the game with more details and preview at westwood1sports.com. And remember to listen for the NFL right here all season long.
Napa know-how.
At Napa, buy a 5-quart jug of Mobil 1 motor oil and save $10 on a pair of wiper blades. It's the perfect autumn deal. Mobil 1 for colder weather, new wipers for the rain, and an extra $10 to buy Halloween candy you'll most likely eat yourself. We're not judging. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating locations, does not include taxes and fees. Advertised sale price not available in some states. Ends 10/31/21.
Hey, frequent heartburn may keep you from running your A game, but it doesn't have to anymore. Join the Prilosec OTC 2-week challenge. Just go to prilosecotc.com. You'll get $3 off to get you started, plus 14 days of tips, tricks, and reminders. Just 2 weeks, zero heartburn. Go to prilosecotc.com and sign up today. Zero heartburn is possible with Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief.
Today, I'm taking it to the streets to give people the good news. Oh, excuse me, hi. I'm Flo from Progressive. Did you know?
Sorry, who?
Flo. You know, I do commercials.
Oh, okay. I stream TV and radio. You know, no annoying ads.
Okay, hurtful. But did you know Progressive's Name Your Price tool lets you choose options based on your budget?
Wait, you're not going to use this in your commercial, are you?
Well, we were hoping to.
Because I don't really want to contribute to the constant barrage of advertising that adds to the cognitive dissonance, which is in my...
Hey, on to our next person.
Get options based on your budget with the Name Your Price tool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
The shift from warm days to cooler and cozier ones just makes you want to switch up your look. Luckily, Ulta Beauty's gorgeous hair event is happening now, so you can discover your best hair this fall. Get up to 50% off hair care essentials from your favorite brands like Briogeo and Revlon, and restore your hair with incredible deals on shampoo and conditioner pairs from brands like Redken. So don't miss out. This event ends October 23rd. Shop in-store, online, or try curbside pickup today. Ulta Beauty. The possibilities are beautiful.
G.J. and Max. It's not just as easy as saying Mac Jones is way better than Cam Newton. I think Mac Jones has a chance to be better than Cam Newton. I still think Cam would have been the starter.
G.J. and Max. Weekday morning starting at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2. Seattle's a little far beyond in the process. They've been trying to build an offensive line for Russell Wilson almost to the fact where he became the squeaky wheel in the offseason, saying, hey, man, I'm tired of getting hit. You know, I think he was sacked like 50 times last year. Like, Russell Wilson takes a lot of punishment. And, like, he's saying, hey, man, he's looking at the other guys to stand upright, and it may be time. And, you know, I think what's going to make this move faster is if they fall short of expectations. Because anything short of – if they don't make the playoffs, forget, like, going to the playoffs and doing something. If they don't make the playoffs and they're like the fourth team in the division, where does it get better? Because other teams have flexibility because they have young quarterbacks that they don't have to pay, so they can continue to get better.
Bart Scott earlier today or at some point this week on ESPN. You can listen to the entire ESPN lineup on ESPN 690, including Action Sports Jacks every day from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. I was just down in St. Augustine saying they were telling me how loud and clear it comes in down there in St. Augustine. So hopefully everybody listening down there in St. Johns County, deep into St. Augustine and beyond. I mentioned I was in Ocala. When I did get in the car, I could hear ESPN 690 loud and clear over the weekend again. So the signal is huge. Tune us in the car also. You can listen to us on the stream, ESPN690.com, on the Relevant app, on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, also Ask Alexa, and more. There are always ways to find us here on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. Brent Martineau, String Sports Brewery. Austin Lane, Casey Kurtz back in the Action Sports Jacks studios. All right, guys, let's do it. We got a big game coming up tonight on Thursday Night Football. What we do each and every Thursday is somebody gets to pick the winner, somebody gets to pick the line, and somebody gets to pick the over and under. Casey, you run the show here. How's it working today? I'll just trust you, even though I don't really trust you.
Appreciate the great slamming endorsement of my keeping track of things here. But anyway, Brent Martineau.
A lot to keep track of these days.
Really, it is a lot of things. And this one is probably your favorite besides the golf picks due to the fact you are 4-0. You have not missed yet. You had the Jags plus 7.5. Obviously, that worked out. I had the Bengals to win. I was sweating it. But at the end of the day, I'm here for the team, so if the Jags would have pulled it out, I would have been okay. Austin Lane, I don't know if we ever gave you a chance, but you had over 46.
Yeah.
The number was 45.
Pitch the ball, Trevor. You know? Pitch the ball on that goal line.
Or kick the field goal?
Or kick the field. Well, yeah, kick the field. I mean, I was going for the fourth down. Yeah, I was going for it, you know. But, yeah, do something, I guess, at the end of the day. Missed it by that much, but that's what Vegas is. So I believe since I lost last week and I'm facing the loss of shame, I get to pick first this week.
That would be correct.
I'm not going to lie. I wish the game would have been a little more decisive in terms of who's going to win, who's going to lose here. Like, I like Los Angeles, but it is in Seattle, and I feel like this is a classic game that Seattle can win. With that being said, Rams coming off of a loss, getting really embarrassed in their house. I think McVay has them ready to play. I think Seattle is super overrated on defense. Give me the line with the Rams. So Rams straight up.
Rams straight up. Brett Martineau, that gives you the second pick due to the fact we both lost in fantasy.
No.
But my team only scored 90 points. What are the boys doing? Logan Thomas with the 0. Just not good. So, Brent, anyway, these are the options for you. You could take the Rams -2.5 or Seattle +2.5, or you can go over under the number of 54.
Oof. Over under 54. Rams 2.5 over under 54. I really want to save Rams. I think the Rams are too, but it's such a good game. Let's root for the under here of 54.
Whoa.
Who roots for unders?
Nobody.
Yeah. Psychopaths.
But the Rams gave up 37 last week. They're going to give up 37 again. They're going to give up 27.
I'm blown away by that, Brian.
I'm so am I. So am I.
You would have went over?
I was fully prepared. If I picked first, I would have picked the over.
Wow.
That was my plan I knew I wasn't picking first, but that was the plan from the get-go because the Rams, Seattle defense, none of it.
Yep.
So
the end.
I'm blown away, and now Brent, maybe it was strategy. You put me in a terrible spot.
Casey's struggling now, trying to buy time, trying to go over some analytics real quick. Didn't think we are gonna be here right now.
Oh my goodness, Brent.
What do you got, Casey? -2.
2.5. Oh boy. I will go with the Rams -2.5. The Rams are better. Chris Carson is looking like will not play. Darrell Henderson will play. So give me the Rams -2.5. Dang it, Brent.
Sorry, man.
Curveball.
Little curveball there.
I like it.
I like the fact that you guys could both lose and I could win.
This is a very good point, Case, because I feel like if I'm going down, you're coming down with me.
Yeah, that's
you know,
true.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, if I lose this one, I'm pulling you with me.
Who picks the under, Brent? I
That's
mean,
what
what are we doing here?
I gotta be honest with you.
Cheers for the
I hate
under.
the under. I hate the under,
Well, what
too.
are you doing?
I have a gut, man. I have a gut.
All right.
Hey, by the way, speaking of, is this game? That is such a good division. I mean, I don't feel like it's a critical game in terms of division, playoffs. It's too early for that. And at the worst, Seattle would be 2-3. But the Rams losing 2 in a row, Seattle going to 2-3. Who has more to lose here? It's just a one-game difference potentially.
Yeah. To me, I mean, if we're talking about the best team, if not one of the best teams in the NFL, it's hard to justify when you lose 2 in a row. And I think that's what could happen with the Rams here if they do indeed do that, right? I mean, like we're talking about the Chiefs and everything. You know, it's hit the panic button on them. I just think expectations were so high with the Rams that, you know, their defense is going to be unstoppable on all levels. And obviously Kyler Murray had different ideas. If they lose 2 in a row to a Seahawks team who I'm not convinced of yet, I think it says a lot more about the Rams.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a critical game in that sense. I think both teams are going to win some games. Although Seattle, to me, is interesting. Seattle could, that was a big win last week for Seattle. Because I think if they had fallen to 1-3, we might have been talking about a Seattle team that has a really good quarterback but not much of anything else and could really fall off the pace and be a disappointing team, kind of like the Steelers have been so far this year. Who is the most disappointing team so far in the NFL? Steelers are 1-3. The Patriots are 1-3. The Chiefs are 2-2. Seattle's 2-2, but that's not super disappointing, I wouldn't think. Who's the most disappointing team in the NFL?
Is Indy in that conversation?
Yeah, they're 1-3.
Mm-hmm. I think they deserve to be. To me, it's like, if we're talking about disappointing, it's the way that you lost the games, and it's what you look like. And I think right now, no one's had the worst losses to maybe inferior opponents than the Pittsburgh Steelers, because you beat the Buffalo Bills at their place as well. So I would probably say Pittsburgh right now at 1-3 is the most disappointing team, because you got blown out by the Bengals. You lost at home. Keep in mind, lost at home to the Bengals. Lost at home to the Raiders.
Yeah, and by the way,
Bay.
Not only that, but you really start to wonder about their quarterback, right? So from a long-term perspective, this could be a really bad for them. I think I agree with you. I don't think Indianapolis is as disappointing. Some of the injuries they had, again, I was still a little skeptical of Carson Wentz. So I think Indy's a little bit surprising. It's probably disappointing, but keep in mind, too, Indy's like one game out?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
There's a lot of other good teams right now in the North, where Pittsburgh, if they don't win and win quick, although I do think they'll bounce back in a big way this weekend, that they could be in serious trouble.
Casey, who's your
Yeah, I thought Indy was going to be better, so, I won't pick them now. Appreciate it. The Dolphins with one win is interesting.
Yeah,
I thought the Dolphins were going to be better.
But do you have an excuse because the quarterback? Like, to me, because I don't say Indy just because, Wentz he has like 0 ankles right now, and Tua's out. Like, seriously, there's no ankles. It's just, it's foot and then it's tibia, no ankle. I don't know how he can do it. Like, that's how I feel about Carson Wentz. And with Tua, he's been out with Miami. But I'm not going to steal your shine, so you go ahead. Sorry for cutting you off.
No, I just think Miami was supposed to play defense. Another team was supposed to play defense was Washington, and they can only beat the Falcons and the Giants, so that's a problem. And I think another
And
team,
you could argue they shouldn't have won either game.
They really shouldn't. Thank goodness for Taylor Heineke, because honestly, does Ryan Fitzpatrick win either of those games? It's hard. It's definitely not a foregone conclusion. How about the Saints? You win a game against the Packers, then you do nothing since. So I think they're in the conversation as well.
Yeah, they beat a New England team, and they're kind of this hot and cold team. They're a tough team to figure out. I think from an impressive standpoint, the Chargers and Cincinnati have to be near the top, right, guys?
And the Raiders.
I would say the Raiders as well.
And the Raiders.
They're up there. I think you can make an argument for any of those teams.
And Carolina, yeah.
Yeah, Casey, what about your Super Bowl champions?
You know what's funny is I was hitting the button to open my mic and say it, but Brent jumped in, which is cool. No, it's cool. But, Super Bowl champs, MVP, all the things, Panthers. Getting better as the day goes by the way.
I think the Bills, you have to we expected the Bills to be good, but the way their defense is playing, I think they warrant some attention as well. Brent, did you have Atlanta as your surprise team this year? Or not? Or am I thinking of something else?
I might have.
The Falcons, yeah.
I forget.
Or was it the Giants?
I think the Giants were last year, but I might have had both of them.
Okay.
Yeah, now's maybe a time to run that back.
Yeah, let's run it back because I forgot who I picked.
Hey, by the way, I was just looking up some stats. How did Daniel Jones do last week?
Changing the narrative. Changing the narrative.
How was Daniel Jones a week ago?
Let
me check.
Let me go and check him out real quick.
28 of 40 for 402 yards and 2 touchdowns and an interception. Wow.
Let me go
DJ.
check it out. 28
DJ
for
getting
40.
it done.
Let's see here. How many? 402 yards, yeah.
4 rushes for 27.
Oh, yeah. You didn't draft the running back in the first round, though. You have 2 of them with Saquon Barkley as well. Yeah, do we call? Here's the honest point. Okay, 402 yards. That's impressive. That's a plus where I come from. Interception, you got to clean that up a little bit. Do we call? Is it DJ or is it check down Charlie though? Because
Charlie, 10.1 yards average.
Yeah, but Saquon, he had 5 receptions for 74. I get it. You got Kenny Galladay. You got Kenny Galladay. You know what they call him, Mr. 50-50, just chuck and pray. He can go get it. I get it, Brent. Kadarius Toney out of the slot, short passes. Do we call him check down Charlie or is it still DJ?
I think it's DJ.
Okay.
And
okay.
DJ, by the way, you have as a wild card team. Thoughts?
Me?
Yes, you.
We got time.
Now let me ask you this one. Second wild card, not in any order, not in particular order, but another team you had in the wild card, Atlanta Falcons. Thoughts?
Wait, no, hang on, guys.
That's not good.
Don't bypass how bad the Giants are real quick. Do you think they tank now for Malik Willis, or do they let Malik Willis play a couple more games at Liberty to see what he's really made of? Like, what does that narrative start to come into play here?
How about Daniel Jones? 67% completion rate, 1,184 yards, 296 per game, 4 touchdowns, 1 pick.
Yeah.
98.3 quarterback rating, which is, let's see where that would rank him.
Oh, yeah.
That's down toward like 15th.
Okay. Yeah.
Hey, by the way, same rating as Derek Carr, who everybody says has played so well. Right below Justin Herbert, by the way. Oh, and right below a guy by the name of Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, I think the biggest – listen, if Daniel Jones can stay healthy –
ahead of Josh Allen.
Okay. Well,
and Sam Darnold.
If Daniel Jones can stay – yeah, careful now.
And Lamar Jackson.
Okay. If Daniel Jones can stay healthy the entire season, it's going to mean a lot to the New York Giants, I'll be honest. If he can stay healthy the entire season, it'll mean a lot to the New York Giants, because then when Malik Willis comes in, Daniel Jones can hand him the water bottle, 100% healthy, and go, here you go, Mr. Willis, enjoy your Gatorade. I'll sit on the bench in case you need me. So hopefully Daniel Jones can stay healthy for that next year.
You know, Brent buys a beer coming up here to finish off a show at Spring
Daniel
Sports Brewery.
Jones a beer?
I might have to buy DJ a beer.
I guarantee, and listen, I don't know him personally. He probably drinks White Claws. I see how he plays the game of football. There ain't no way Daniel Jones is drinking a beer. He comes home after a hard-fought game of running 25 times a game when nobody told him to, and he has a case of White Claws waiting with his wife or his girlfriend, whoever it is.
I just hope as he's running to the bar, he doesn't trip over a brick. We'll be back. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. I will buy a beer for somebody coming up to end the show here on ESPN 690.
What's up? It's Casey of Action Sports Jax. If you can't catch the show live, just search Action Sports Jax wherever you get your podcasts to make sure you don't miss moments like this.
Now, keep in mind, you're sitting next to Mr. Thanksgiving right now, because I absolutely stuffed the stat column.
You sure did.
And they called me Mr. Thanksgiving.
Nobody
called
brag. Nobody called you that.
I don't want to brag.
You called yourself that, maybe.
I don't want to brag. We're talking 4 points.
Yep.
We're talking 2 rebounds.
Yep.
We're talking a steal.
Okay.
We're talking a block.
Yep.
And I almost broke a guy's ankle. I'm just saying, if you find yourselves around some Jacksonville Giants and all of a sudden one of them starts saying, is that stovetop dressing?
Oh, jeez.
What is that? What is that? Is that cranberry sauce? Oh, Mr. Thanksgiving's in the house. And that's who you know they're talking about me.
I love football and I love chicken wings. Hey, everybody, this is Brent Mortno. We are a lot alike, right? You love football and you love wings. Let's win the week with Extreme Wings Sports Grill. 4 locations in Jacksonville, Atlantic Boulevard, Ocean Way, 210 in St. Johns County, and the new location on Roosevelt Boulevard near NAS Jax, serving up the freshest, never frozen, world-famous extreme hot wings to Jacksonville since 1999. We like football. We like wings. We love a good deal. To celebrate the grand opening of the Extreme Wings Roosevelt location, get 6 wings, french fries, and a drink for just $12.99 at the Roosevelt location. 6 wings, french fries, and a drink, just $12.99. Active military gets special discounts: jalapeno ranch, Caribbean jerk, spicy blue cheese, lemon pepper. So many flavors to choose from. And, of course, they can make them extreme if you want. Plenty of space at Extreme Wings Sports Grill locations. If you're looking for a place for the entire team, try Extreme Wing Sports Grill. I love it. You'll love it. 4 locations in Jacksonville, including Roosevelt Boulevard near NAS Jax.
If you live in the Southeast, you know that air conditioning is king. And as the population grows, so does the need for more AC units, which means that there's more demand for technicians. And guess what? The HVAC industry is growing 13% faster than your average job, according to the 2018 Bureau of Labor Statistics. And on top of that, the average pay is over $22 an hour. And this is where JTech comes in. When you attend the HVAC program at JTech, you'll get the hands-on training that is focused on understanding the different types of HVAC systems, logical diagnostic procedures, effective repair methods, and so much more. And by the end of the program, you're going to be trained on all the necessary areas that employees are looking for, so you can be their first-round pick as a technician or an installer. To learn more about JTech, visit jtech.org or call them at 904-483-9460. Ask for Hank to set up an appointment to tour the campus or get your questions answered. answered. That's 904-483-9460 or visit jtech.org.
Bozard Ford, Ford's Garage, and ESPN 690 are proud to present Be the Sun, Not the Salt Community Award.
Do you know any coaches, teachers, or mentors who are doing all the good they can in the community and should be recognized and rewarded for being positive energizers and making a difference? Are they kind, authentic, compassionate, and positive? Then tell us why they deserve to be recognized. You and your nominee can win free stuff just for being sunny, not salty.
Details and nomination forms are available on ESPN 690's website, powered by Be the Sun, Not the Salt, Bozard Ford, Ford's Garage, and Cox Media Group.
It's a new approach to healthcare. The Center for Health and Sports Medicine is built on the pillars of health: physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional, with primary care sports medicine physicians, mental health counselors, an advanced diagnostics lab for wellness and sports medicine, and 24/7 on-site state-of-the-art fitness facility, all under one roof. What does this mean for you? As a Center for Health and Sports Medicine patient, you'll receive medical care in a collaborative, proactive, goal-oriented manner. In other words, everything they do is centered around you. Learn more at jacksfamilysportsmed.com.
ESPN 690 is home for the Florida Sportsman Fishing Show, hosted by Captain Rick Riles. Tune in every Saturday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. to find out what's biting now. Fishing so fresh, you can almost smell it.
Here in the Sunshine State, more than 3 million men are over age 45, and over half suffer from ED or PE. Here's a message from Prime Men's Medical Center.
I'm Dr. Brown. If you're having problems in the bedroom and pills like Viagra have let you down, you'll see results at Prime Men's Medical Center, guaranteed, or your exam is free. And it's affordable.
Call 904-664-8217. Guaranteed results on your first visit or your exam is free. Call 904-664-8217.
Know what time it is? It's time to get moving. Cora Physical Therapy has opened a new state-of-the-art clinic in Kingsland on Boone at Haddock, and will be opening another one soon in Brunswick. With Cora, you have access to licensed, passionate clinicians, only the most innovative equipment, and life-changing therapies. Cora is all about treating everyone right now. It's your move. Visit coraphysicaltherapy.com for a free screening. No physician's referral required. Same-day appointments available.
USA Gun Shows is coming to the Ramona Pavilion Ballroom Saturday and Sunday with ammo, hundreds of guns, knives, and more with conceal and carry classes. Discounts for law enforcement, military, and firefighters. Opens at 9 a.m. Follow USA Gun Shows on Facebook and online at usagunshows.com.
What's your ultimate game day experience? A tricked out man cave? Deluxe tailgate? Then enter the 5-Hour Energy Football Sweepstakes for a chance to win $10,000. And make your ultimate game day experience a reality. To enter, buy any 5-Hour Energy product and upload the receipt. It's that easy. The 5-Hour Energy Football Sweepstakes. Enter today.
No purchase necessary. Must be 18 and a legal resident of the U.S. Ends December 10th, 2021. For official rules and how to enter without purchase, visit 5hesport.com. Void where prohibited.
Thursday night football on Fox. It's a battle in the best division in football. Touchdown, LA! The electrifying Matthew Stafford leads the high-powered Rams aerial attack into a huge NFC West clash. Look out! With the dangerous Russell Wilson and the Seahawks at the home of the 12th man. And here we go. Rams, Seahawks, tonight at 7:30 Eastern on Fox, NFL Network, and streaming on Prime Video. NFL Network and Amazon simulcast subject to change.
Hey, it's Brent Mortno from Action Sports Jacks. Did you know you can watch our radio show? Yeah, video of a radio show. Just search ESPN 690 Jacks on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Or follow me on Twitter at Brent A.S. Jacks. Watch the show live weekdays from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. or listen on ESPN 690.
Had two tough injuries, but our offense played their best game. Trevor was really sharp, took care of the ball. Made really good decisions pretty much the entire game. LaVisca played his best game. Offensive line was very consistent. A tale of two halves. First half, we held him 18 yards rushing, and other than a 30-yard pass to start the game, we really kept them in check. Obviously a good team, and second half, we just couldn't get off the field on defense. Joe got fire, and was identifying mismatch, and we about 4 or 5 critical errors. Really had to put ourselves in position to go win a game, but we didn't do it.
4 or 5 critical errors. That's not going to get it done. We'll see if the Jaguars can clean things up on the defensive side. It'll be really interesting. After those 2 quarters not making a play, can they clean it up quick enough? You have some hope for Tyson Campbell still, man. Austin Lane, this guy's not played well. I'll say it. I feel like he looks like a good player. has the measurables, all those things, but there's a lot of people that doubt you can teach not being able to find the football in the air. Should we be concerned, or is this a little bit of a maturation process? I do bring up, and I know we joke, I mean, a guy like Trevon Diggs did not get off to a good start last year, and now he's playing really well. I mean, so growth does happen at the NFL level. That's an example of it.
No, I mean, I've said this many times before when we're talking about Tyson Campbell. This guy is in the right spot. It's not like he's getting burnt so much in terms of speed, athleticism, or that part of his skill set. What he needs to improve on is getting his head around, getting the proper body mechanics, and lining himself up to make the plays. So if I saw a guy who was getting burnt nonstop, getting burnt deep, getting burnt on cross, whatever the case may be, then yeah, I would say I'd be definitely concerned of who this guy could be for the future, and is he reliable as your, number 2 cover corner. I haven't seen that yet. All I've seen is a guy that can keep up with his receiver. It's just he has trouble getting his head around and pinpointing where the ball is. That can be taught. That can be taught with film and position coaches teaching proper technique. So I'm not going to give up on Tyson Campbell because, once again, I think he has the skill set. It's just now the more mental part of getting your head around, tracking the ball, all that stuff, which can be done with coaching.
Yeah, well, hopefully that is the case. If he can get better, that'll be a big deal because he's been really, they have gone after the rookie out of Georgia so far this season. Brent Martineau here at String Sports Brewery. Time to buy a beer for somebody. How about Submarine Mike, Austin? Maybe he can save the $10 or whatever and use it to buy some more dry erase markers or another whiteboard,
I actually saw him Saturday.
Did you?
At Rooms to Go. I was working on location there for the other show, and he stopped up, said what's up. So, yeah, I think that's a fantastic pick for a free beer.
All right, Submarine Mike, there it is. You got a month to use it. I don't know if Logan Bowles is still on the board. Moose just bought me one here, and he put Yankees Brent on it.
Oh.
Not sure if I should take that or not.
Ooh, scoreboard though, right?
Yeah, scoreboard. I feel okay about that.
Yeah.
Speaking of scoreboards, Houston's up 5-0 over Chicago, top of the 5th inning. This is what I'd be afraid of if I was the White Sox, because I do think it matters that you've been there before, and I think that's what we're seeing early on for Houston.
Check something. Check hands. Check hats. Check something. That score is way too high for my liking right now.
It is in Houston.
Something's going on.
What is that noise? It's a garbage can. Red Sox and Rays will go a little bit later. We'll see if that's a good series or if the Rays are just too good. And we'll be back at it tomorrow, 3 o'clock here on ESPN 690. Kevin Sullivan will join us to get ready for our high school Friday night in the Blitz Scoreboard Show. Nick Morrow from UNF, the UNF Ospreys, that's day 100 for him on the job as the athletic director. We plan to have him. And I might even give the best-dressed man in TV, Steve Lehman, a buzz to talk a little Tennessee Titans, Austin. I know you like
Brent, I would appreciate that, man. It's been a while since we've had the best-dressed man in TV. I want to see how he's been, how he's doing. I think that's a fantastic idea.
All right, good job, fellas. Have a good rest of the night. We'll see you on TV tonight, CBS 47, Fox 30. Shaq Griffin will join us virtually, but we'll be right here at String Sports Brewery, 7 o'clock. Jaguars All Access. It's on Fox 30 if you can't make it up, but love to have you come out in the next hour or so. And you can listen to ESPN 690, Westwood One coverage of the Rams Seahawks all night long. Have a good night.